Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Rouse Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Today, we are going to be bringing you the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters hosting the Saitama Seibu Lions. It is the third game of the three-game set. On Friday night, it went down to the final pitch of the game. A sayonara home run by the Fighters had knocked off the Lions in that one 2-0. As both starting pitchers had taken no hitters into the seventh inning. It was a classic 0-0 pitchers duel all the way to the bottom of the 12th when it was a walk-off bomb. And then yesterday, the Lions rebounded in yesterday's action as they were able to knock off the Fighters 2-1. And today is the rubber game of the series, which is the third game, and we'll see what falls out here over the next 2 to 3 hours. Starting lineup, first of all, for the visitors for the Saitama Seibu Lions is leading off in center field tonight is number 51, Manaya Nishikawa. Hitting second at shortstop is number 6, Sosuke Genda. Hitting third and making his season debut is the right fielder, number 68, Junichiro Kishi. And the cleanup spot and doing the designated hitting is number 40, Leandro Cedeno. Batting fifth at third base is number 5, Shuta Tonosaki. Batting sixth and playing first base is number 26, Tyler Nevin. Hitting seventh in left field is number 31, Shota Hiranuma. Batting eighth at second base is number 67, Daiji Nomura. And batting ninth and doing the catching is Yuta Koga. And they are going to be facing Drew Verhagen, who takes to the hill for the third time this year. He's worked 11 innings, allowed 11 hits, 7 runs, all been earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 7. He's posted an earned run average of 573. Well, now your starting lineup for the home team, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. Leading off and in left field tonight is number 12, Kota Yazawa. Batting second at third base is number 21, Kataro Kiyomiya. Hitting third and doing the designated hitting is number 99, Franmil Reyes. In the cleanup spot and playing first base is number 5, Yuki Nomura. Batting fifth and doing the catching is number 64, Yua Tamiya. Hitting in the sixth spot and in right field is number 66, Chusei Manami. Hitting seventh in center field is number 7, Go Matsumoto. Batting eighth at second base is number 49, Akihiro Wakabayashi. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is number 43, Tatsuki Mizuno. And they are going to be facing Yataro Watanabe, who takes to the hill with an 0-1 record. He's worked 11 and a third innings, allowing 13 hits, 10 runs, 7 have been earned, walking 2, striking out 5 with a 5.56 ERA. Well, we're ready to get this one underway as the first pitch of the ball game is upon us as Drew Verhagen kicks and delivers a first pitch fastball that catches the inside corner and the count is 0-1. We are underway at 1 o'clock Japan time, midnight if you're on the East Coast in North America, or at 9 p.m. Pacific. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Moving back onto the warning track and making the catch is Manami. And that is going to put one away here for the Lions, and that'll bring up the shortstop Sosuke Genda. Well, for Genda, he's hitting .206 to start the season. He's got no homers and 3 RBIs. The Lions have shaken up their lineup a little bit here tonight as they've got a couple additions to the lineup. Genda batting from the left side as the right-hander delivers. A fastball's been taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Genda. As we mentioned, Tyler Nevin dropped down a little bit in the order here, and Shuta Tonosaki moving up. The fastball misses inside, and the count's even at 1-1. The debut of Kishi tonight, and they've also shuffled around the outfield a little bit here. Anuma getting the start, of course. Nomura at second. Fastball in the inside corner, taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Be curious to see if Tonosaki maybe moved back to second base once a couple of the other players begin to get healthy. So here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on, and it's line foul down the left field line, and the count remains at 1-2 to Genda. Genda slowly starting to get his average going. He was hitting south of 200 when we saw him the other night. So he's starting to put the ball in play a little bit, moving up in the order. As the 1-2 is on the way, it's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 1-2. It is not a full slate of games tonight. A couple of games have already been washed out, as the ball game between the Marines and Fukuoka to be played in Chiba has been rained out, as has been the game with the Bay Stars and the Swallows. Fastball swung on, grounded up the middle, And that ball is going to get through into center field for a base hit. So Sosuke Genda has a 1-out single. That's going to bring up the right fielder in Junichiro Kishi. Well, for Kishi, as we said at the outset, he is making his season debut as he is getting the spot in the 3-hole. Genda putting on the oven mitt at first base, taking his time, getting off the gloves. And this brings Kishi to the plate. He is batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Verhagen, who works himself to the set. And now he fires over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Genda. Genda waggling the bat, waiting here on the offering from the right-hander Verhagen. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, and it's popped foul straight behind home plate. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Verhagen gets himself a new baseball, and he's ready to go back at it as he gets his sign from the catcher Tamiya. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow center field, coming in hard and making the catch as the center fielder Matsumoto, and that's going to retire Kishi for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone, and it brings up Leandro Cedeno to the plate. Well, for the big fella, he's looking for his first home run in a Lions uniform. He's hitting 188 here in the early going with no homers and 3 RBIs. We had mentioned a couple of streams ago that he has to get himself going, but he also needs somebody to go with him, and that's where they had both him and Nevin batting back-to-back there, but that partnership wasn't coming to fruition. Now they've got Tonosaki batting between them, hoping to ignite something and be able to get a spark going. You need to get 2 or 3 bats going at one time. There's nothing like having 6 or 7 going at one time, but at least if you get 2 or 3, you can scratch and claw with the other 6. Here comes the pitch from Verhagen. It's a fastball that's taken for a strike. There goes the runner down to second. The throw was in time, but it was dropped by the shortstop Mizuno. Or was it second baseman Wakabayashi that was covering? Or it looks like it was Wakabayashi. So it's going to be a stolen base there for Genda, and the count is 0-1 to Cedeno as he had taken that for the strike. And that is going to put the runner in scoring position here with 2 gone. I do like these uniforms that the Fighters are sporting here tonight. The black, well, I don't know if I like the black pants, but I certainly like the tops. If you haven't seen it, be sure to get on to Instagram. Kind of has like the mountains across the chest. Fighters is in that mountain. Almost like that teal powder blue type look on these shoulders. There's a breaking ball missing outside. Counts 1-1. Defensively tonight for the Fighters from left to right field. Yazawa's in left. Matsumoto's in center. And the right fielder is Manami. Around the horn from first to third. Nomura is at first. The second baseman is Wakabayashi. Shortstop is Mizuno. And the third baseman Kiyomiya. The battery of Verhagen and Tamiya. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Cedeno. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Verhagen again leans in, and he gets the sign from his catcher Tamiya. Yeah, the pitch on the way. The 2-1 is swung on. It's grounded to the left side. It's through the 6-hole into left field. Rounding third and heading home is Genda, and he's going to cash in with the first run of the ball game. So an RBI single off of Cedeno's bat scores Genda, and the Lions have taken an early 1-0 lead here against the Fighters. That'll bring up the third baseman in Shuta Tonosaki. So Fighters already find themselves in the hole here early as they are down 1-0 here. And Tonosaki come to the plate. He's enjoyed himself a pretty good start to the season. He's hitting .297. He's got a homer and 3 RBIs. Establishing his lead at first is Cedeno. As the right-hander Verhagen holds to the set, here comes the pitch. It is a split-finger pitch, swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. We noted that Verhagen threw a splitter earlier in the at-bat to Genda. So no balls and one strike. Doesn't have a ton of depth to it. He does have some downward plane. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and now the count goes to 0-2 on Tonosaki. So Tonosaki getting nothing really good here other than some good pitchers' pitches. So no balls and two strikes, as again, establishing his lead at first base is Cedeno. Not really a threat to run. As the right-hander Verhagen works to the set, here's the pitch. Fastball misses on the outside corner, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Tonosaki. 1-0 lead here for the Lions in the first inning. A one-out single by Genda and a two-out single by Cedeno. Have the Lions out in front. As the right-hander Verhagen gets his sign, and now he works to the set. And here's the 1-2 pitch. It is a breaking ball, misses in the left-handed batter's box. The count now goes to 2-2. Tyler Nevin waiting his time on deck. Again, Verhagen ready to go as he gets the sign from his catcher, Tamiya. Works himself into the set position. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball swung on, grounded over to third. Spinning and doing a 360 is Kiyomiya, and he throws to first, and Tonosaki's going to be retired. A nice play there by the third baseman. Ground out 5-3 if you're keeping score at home for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it here in the first half of the first inning. Lions had one run on two hits. There was no errors, and there was one runner left aboard. We are through a half inning. It is the Lions 1 and the Fighters coming to bat. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. The Fighters are coming to bat here in the bottom half of the first inning, and they find themselves in a 1-0 deficit. It'll be Cody Ozawa, Kataro Kiyomiya, and Franmil Reyes to come to bat to face the right-hander Yutaro Watanabe, who has completed his warm-up tosses, and we are ready to get this one underway. What do I expect here tonight? Well, I think that we're probably going to see a lot of runs here at some point tonight and an early bullpen, maybe for both teams. The first pitch breaking ball misses off the outside corner, and the count is 1-0 to Cody Ozawa. Ozawa batting .217 on the season, homer and a couple RBIs. As the pitch is delivered, it's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count now goes to 2-0. Saw Watanabe pitch last year and had difficulties throwing strikes. The game that I had attended between these two ball clubs in Karazawa, as the pitch is on the way. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into left field. Moving over to his right toward the foul line, and now moving in and making the catch is Shota Hiranuma, and that is going to retire Ozawa for the first out of the innings. So 1 up and 1 away. And that'll bring up the third baseman in Kataro Kiyomiya. Well, for Kiyomiya, he's hitting .216 in the early going, a homer and 8 runs batted in. I think that if you had asked the fighters that there is a greater expectations in a player like Kiyomiya as there is in Chusei Manami, and they're languishing down around the 200 mark because there's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. If the fighters are going to go, Kiyomiya has to get going. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-0. Well, Watanabe, if he's going to fall behind in the counts here, he's going to run himself into a bit of trouble. And so, as we mentioned before, getting ahead in the count and staying ahead in the count is something that has not been a strength of this Lions pitcher as the right-hander works to the set. Here comes the 2-0. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Kiyomiya to be followed by Franmil Reyes here in the Fighters' bottom half of inning number 1 as the right-hander kicks and delivers. Breaking ball misses outside. It's now 3-1. Defensively tonight for the Lions, from left to right field, it is Hiranuma in left. The center fielder is Nishikawa, and in right field it's Kishi, so a little bit different look for the Lions. From first to third, it's Nevin at first. The second baseman's Nomura with the shortstop Genda, and the third baseman Tonosaki. As that breaking ball misses up and away, and it's ball 4 to Kiyomiya. And then the battery, of course, is Watanabe and Koga. So the Fighters have their first base runner of the inning as Kiyomiya draws himself a walk. That's going to bring up the designated hitter in Franmil Reyes. And the other issue there is especially when you've got the likes of Reyes, Nomura, Manami, Tamiya coming up next, you don't want to be walking guys because they're going to be putting the ball in play, and if you've given people free passes, make them earn their way on. Free passes or the walks will kill you more often than not. So here comes the pitch from the right-hander. Fastball, check swing foul over on the first base side. The count is quickly 0-1 to Reyes. Reyes really off to a good start this year. .333 batting average, a couple of homers and 7 RBIs. He struggled out of the gates last year. In fact, he got sent down to the farm team. And, of course, he came back with a vengeance by having that 25-game hit streak. But he looks like he has settled in really nice in Hokkaido. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-1. And because of his age, and I would have to think that he'll probably finish his career in the NPB and probably get extended for a few seasons. When I think of certain players, especially once they settle in, those like Brandon Laird, even going back to Stefan Romero. Fastball swung on. It's lifted into deep right field, back onto the warning track, and now circling back in and making the catch is the right fielder Kishi, holding it first. It's going to be the runner Kiyomiya. Reyes is in the books for the second out of the inning. That's going to leave it all up to the first baseman in Yuki Nomura. We got Harrison in here. He says, what does Yokohama need to do to move up in the standings? They need to win some games. And they need to, at least last night, not blow a 5-run lead almost in the 9th inning. They had a 5-0 lead, and then it looked like the game was in the bag, and then they gave up 4 runs in the 9th. There were runners in scoring position to punch them ahead for the Swallows. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count's 0-1 to Nomura. Nomura is batting .233 on the season, 3 homers and 9 runs batted in. Harrison said the Mets slots today. I didn't see anything there, but I have a personal friendly, wager with a friend of mine, and I'll tell you that when I come back in a moment, as that ball's popped up on the first base side. Underneath it is Tyler Nevin. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to do it as the Fighters are retired here in their half of inning number 1. There was no runs, no hits, no errors. There was a runner left aboard. We're now through 1 complete. Your scores, the Lions 1 and the Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the second inning. It'll be Tyler Nevin, Shota Hiranuma, and Daiji Nomura to come to bat here in inning number 2. Nevin striding to the plate, batting 195 with no homers and 4 RBIs, as he is trying to unlock the success here in the NPB. An excellent spring. He has gone into a bit of an April swoon. He can get himself back on track. Well, our friend Harrison said about Yokohama, what do they got to do to move up in the standings? That's one thing, but also too, it's with Tyler Austin out of the lineup, that is a big bat. That is a loss. And also to the health of him, but they did get some good pitching from Anthony Kay last night. There was a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Tyler Nevin batting from the right side here against the right-hander Verhagen, who rocks into a windup and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is looped softly over the head of the second baseman into center field. And that's what Nevin would need there to help get him off the schneid, as he's got himself a leadoff single here to start the second, and that's going to bring up the left fielder into Shota Hiranuma. Well, for Hiranuma, he's hitting 143 on the season. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. I started to say I picked up a wager. I had a friendly, pet bet with a buddy of mine. I bet that if the Dodgers got shut out at some point this year, he didn't think the Dodgers were going to get shut out. And they lost tonight. I think it was like 18-0 to the Cubs. Breaking ball misses inside. That I would fly into Kansas City and he would pick up tickets for the weekend for any Kansas City Royals series. We're probably going to do it next year. I don't have time this year. And he had the other part. He would have had to come into Seattle, and we would have picked up the tickets. There's a breaking ball that is check swing and miss. The count is 1-1. So I'll probably end up doing a weekend series in Kansas City. So I'll be looking at the 2026 schedule and sharpening my pencil and circling one of the games or one of the weekends to get in there. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Hiranuma. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to the right side, fielded by Wakabayashi. He goes to second. That's going to retire Nevin on a fielder's choice. It goes 4-6 into the books. He's gone for out number 1. Hiranuma is going to be safe on the back end. That'll bring up the second baseman in Daiji Nomura. Harrison says, are you going to do another Bay Stars game this year? Yeah, we will. But this is the most Central League games that we've ever done. We want to try to do some more this year. Let's say we call 100 games, you could pretty much bank on about 15 of them being Central League games. So I was trying to get it this year to go where it's going to be half and half. As they throw over to first base and diving back in time is the base runner Hiranuma. Nomura struggling out of the gates. His spring was pretty good. He's 1 for 18. He's batting .056 with no homers and a couple RBIs. But once the lights have come on for the regular season, his bat has been left in the freezer. Here comes the offering as the pitch is on the way. It is a fastball swung on at line foul. 0-1 here to Nomura. Harrison says they need to beat the Giants and Dragons fast. He says the Bay Stars go to Nagoya next weekend. Generally speaking, the Bay Stars will struggle. Actually, I was going to say the Giants will struggle with the Dragons. That's their nemesis. Whenever they play each other, it seems to be they play them tough. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count's 1-1 on Nomura. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Next weekend, we will probably do the Saturday Japan game. Not sure if we're going to be able to do the Sunday one. There's a breaking ball waved on and missed. And the count now goes to 1-2 on Nomura. Going to be out of town for a few days. So we will do some stuff. And we might actually I'm going to be on the East Coast, so I might do some of the 5 a.m. games, maybe the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games, possibly. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on and fouled away on the home plate side of first base. Depends on how the jet lag is. I always find going east to be difficult. Coming west is a piece of cake. Unless you're coming across the date line when you're going back from Asia into North America, that's fairly easy. Anytime going east or to Europe, just takes too long to have to get adjusted. So here comes the 1-2 pitch to Nomura as Verhagen kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on, and this is lifted foul over on the first base side. On the pitch, Hiranuma was running, but he's got to go back to first base. Harrison said both the Bay Stars and the Hawks were postponed. Yeah, the game in Chiba today was washed out. Chiba started off on fire, but they've cooled off as of late. Hawks have scuffled out of the gates, or stumbled out of the gates, maybe more so. I think that they're probably not disappointed about a rainout either. There's a fastball swung on. This is lined into left field for a base hit. They play station-to-station baseball through the Lions as Hiranuma's going to stop at second. Nomura's got his second hit of the season. That's going to bring up the catcher in Yuta Koga. So the Lion fans have something to cheer about. Dark Age came in here. He says, I just got here and found out the postponed games. Yeah, one of the things that you can do is if you look on the NPB website, when they announce their starters or prospective starters, they also kind of give you like a forecast. They don't maybe tell you the temperatures, but they show if there's rain or clouds or whatever is in the area. And so depending, I know some people like to come in and they like to bet in while they listen to the games, as that fastball swung on and fouled away and the count's 0-1 to Koga. But I know some people have messaged me after the games and are like, hey, am I going to get paid out? And it really depends on the gambling house that you're with, whether or not you're going to get yourself a payout or not if you're doing a multiple or parlay type bet, especially if you got a game that gets rained out or washed out or postponed. Every house handles it differently. Here's a pitch. Fastball that misses inside and the count goes to 1-1. I forget, there's a couple of houses that the house rules where if you maybe have, for example, 7 or 8 games, or it's like 9 games or 10 games, if one of them gets washed out, then it doesn't count against you. They kind of give you that as a freebie. But I have to admit, I don't keep track of that so much. It's beyond my scope. I don't look too tightly at that. It's not an importance for me. But if I was doing it regular, it would be. That's that breaking ball misses down and the count goes to 2-1. So know your house. Harrison said the Lions are a bad team, he thought. Yeah, even the bad teams win a third of their games. That was proven last year. Our friend Harrison says he wants to study abroad in Japan. As that breaking ball misses inside, the count is 3-1. That's actually a pretty interesting pun. As we all are on YouTube and you're listening to us, there is a channel called Abroad in Japan. The guy is Chris Broad. And some of his videos I like, some of his videos I don't like. It's kind of mixed when he does these challenges and these different things. But he also does a podcast with a fellow named Pete Donaldson back in the UK, and they're kind of entertaining to listen to. Breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count's now full to Koga. Oh, he's got a kick out of it. And his girlfriend, or at least Chris Broad's girlfriend, is originally from Victoria, British Columbia. He includes her sometimes in the videos, and there's some other cast of characters that they have as friends through YouTube that have been creating the videos and doing this stuff. Here's the 3-2 pitch. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and that is going to be ball 4. That's going to load the bases. So Koga is going to get himself a walk. That's going to advance Hiranuma to third and Nomura to second. So Dark Age had mentioned about the merch there. He said he's got family going. So I started to tell a story yesterday, or a little bit, at least, in terms of the merch, as we have a conference on the mound. All Rails in the house tonight. Welcome. Started to tell this story about the merch. I mentioned I picked up a Hanshin Tigers jersey. The jerseys that the players are wearing, like the Fighters and the Lions here, it looks like something that Fanatics is now making the jerseys. It looks like it would be something like it's El Cheapo. Like everything is just kind of screened on. Whereas the Tigers jerseys, everything was stitched on. The name on the back, the numbers, everything was stitched in place. These Fanatics jerseys look like it's something you'd get off the rack at Walmart. And here comes the offering. It's a breaking ball. It's taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. I hope I'm not getting a cold, and I hope it's just allergies that are kicking in. I'm struggling a little bit here tonight, so I haven't lost my taste, but I do feel like I'm plugged up and we're all a little bit struggling here. So hopefully we're not coming down with something. So here comes the 0-1 pitch to Nishikawa. There's a fastball that is swung on. It is lifted into left field. Moving underneath it and making the catch is the left fielder, Yazawa. He fires it in, but coming in to score is going to be Hiranuma with the second run of the ball game for the Lions. They have now gone up by a scoreline of 2-0. So sacrifice fly and an RBI off the bat of Nishikawa drives in the second run of the ball game. That's going to leave it up to the shortstop in Sosuke Genda. Dark Age says he's more focused on caps than jerseys. The other thing I was going to say, too, in 2023 when I went over, a lot of the teams, only the Giants were being managed by Fanatics. Now some more of the teams have been picked up by Fanatics, and the prices have just gone crazy in Japan with regards to that. They haven't experienced inflation in other ways, but certainly on the merchandise rack, their prices have gone up big time. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Our friend Dark Age says allergies have been killing him since the start of the month. Yeah, generally speaking, I never used to experience them, but as the 1-0 is on the way, there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count's 1-1 to Genda. I had allergy tests years ago, but when the physician told me out west, they said they don't necessarily test you for the things that are in this area. They would test you for things in the Midwest, things that are local to your area. So coming out on the West Coast, the trees are different, the pollen's a bit different. And so something could aggravate you there. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into straight center, left center field, coming in on it. And making the catch is the left fielder Yazawa, and that is going to retire Genda for the third out of the inning. But the Lions get another run and add to their lead here. They got 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We're now moving to the bottom of the second inning. Your score is the Lions 2 and the Fighters no score. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a few. Appreciate you for being with us. I'm going to go and refresh my beverage. We'll be right back after this. Hang tight. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the last half of the second inning. It'll be Iwatamiya, Chusei Manami, and Go Matsumoto to come to bat here in inning number 2. So we welcome you guys in, and always good to have you with us in the chat. As everybody is listening in here tonight, we have some different folks that come through all the time, and definitely depending upon who the team is, that does change a little bit. I like to see different teams. Sometimes I like to do a whole series where I can get a feel for what the teams are doing. Of course, we saw the Lions and the Fighters the other night unexpectedly as that fastball misses outside once that game was washed out in Yokohama. As I mentioned, one of the fellas who had used to do some of our programming and then had played in the States was telling me he was at the game on the game that it got rained out when Bauer started, and no refunds. It wasn't even an official game, and you don't get a refund for that? That was crazy. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line, and the count now is 1-2 on Tamiya. Dark Age was saying he's been getting into the KBO, but as we were talking a little bit about that the other night, the problem with the KBO is just the wide discrepancy in abilities with some of the teams. There's a fastball grounded past the bag at third, and I know you could argue that in Major League Baseball too. There's 30 teams, and the difference between the Dodgers and the Rockies is probably massive. But certainly, we were talking about the KBO the other night, that you've got some guys that have Major League quality. There are some players that are double A or high A quality, and then you got guys that are high schoolers that look like they're running around on the field. Fastball swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 1-2 to Tamiya. All Rail says, I'm just glad you don't like the Giants. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball grounded up the middle off of the foot of the pitcher. It deflects over towards the second baseman, Nomura, but it is going to be a base hit for Tamiya. That's going to be a single here. Rocker Roller in the house. Welcome. We appreciate you for being here. Dark Age says the KBO have Lotte Giants have a Venezuelan player, so immediately become his favorites. Again, I think Davidson, who was with the Carp, ended up over in the KBO. There's been a number of players that have gone over there over the years. I remember Addison Russell was there during the blip years. So here we are at the plate is Chusei Manami. Manami with his first at bat. He's hitting 196, 3 homers and 7 RBIs. And the pitch is on the way. It's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0 to Manami. But I do say this. I do like these Fighters uniforms. I also kind of like the Fighters helmets, too. If you're getting a chance on Instagram to check these things out, it's kind of neat. I can't quite put where the Fighters helmets remind me of an old Minnesota Twin helmet, where the bill and the back of the helmet are just a little bit different colors. There's a fastball swung on it. Has popped up just behind second base. Genda's there to make the catch, and Manami is going to be erased for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the center fielder and Go Matsumoto. The only stadium that I haven't been able, or I didn't get to, I wasn't able to get tickets for, was at the Koshin. So when I was in Japan, the Koshin Stadium is kind of the Wrigley Field vibe, ivy on the outside of the stadium. Kind of got a neat appreciation, a lot of history at that stadium. And it happened to be when the Bay Stars were in town in 2023. That was actually the game that Bauer ended up getting injured and ended up being out for the year, ended up hurting his hip. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1 to Matsumoto. Matsumoto struggling to start the year, batting 182. No homers and no runs batted in. He's only a couple years removed from leading the Pacific League in stolen bases. Harrison asked the question, what's your favorite NPB jersey? As they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner. Well, I like the pinstripe Tiger jersey. I got a gray road one. I thought those were kind of neat. And I'm thinking of the traditional jerseys, not necessarily the whatever they want to call it, the third jerseys or special jerseys that they have. As there's a fastball swung on, it's lifted into center. Camping out underneath it is Nishikawa. He's there to make the catch, and that's going to retire Matsumoto for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone. It's going to leave it up to the second baseman, Akihiro Wakabayashi. I do like the Lions colors. I was really tempted to buy a hat last year for the Saitama Seibu Lions. I don't support anybody in particular in the NPB. There's some teams I enjoy watching. I certainly didn't enjoy watching the Fighters play a couple years ago. And I got to take my hat off to Shinjo. I wasn't sure that he was the right guy for the job. So Akihiro Wakabayashi, 0 for 1 on the season. Swings at the first pitch and misses, and the count is 0-1 to him. Shinjo, I wasn't convinced. I thought maybe he was more of a sideshow in terms of taking the heat off the young players. And when they got ready to win, that he would be kind of ushered out. But no, he has done a great job with this Young Fighters ball club. And they throw over to first base and diving back in time. But certainly 2-3 years ago when he took over a team that was being basically rebuilt, players were young, made a lot of errors in the field, poor decision, bad base running, missed cuts, fundamentals were not very good, pitching was lousy. But they've really turned the ship around. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-2. Harrison says, I think the Swallows have one of the best uniforms. They've got some interesting stuff as well. I like that kind of that, I don't know what you want to call it, like a greenish type. Almost looks like a vest on a French police officer. As there's a split finger pitch and misses down, and the count is 1-2. Or a roadside worker, but it actually has a neat appeal to it. If the lights went out at the stadium, they would glow like fireflies all over the place. So here comes the 1-2 pitch to Wakabayashi as the right-hander holds to the set. He checks the runner and now delivers. It is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wakabayashi. Should he reach base, it'll be Tatsuki Mizuno to follow here. Lions enjoying an early 2-0 lead. We haven't updated our ticker on this because we were a little bit asleep at the switch. It is currently in the bottom of the second inning here. As the pitch is a fastball that is swung on and missed. And now that we've updated the ticker, we're going to have to change it to the third inning. Well, we got no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors. And there was 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving to the top of the third inning. Your score is the Lions 2 and the Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit. Appreciate you guys for being with us here on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. I'll be back in just a few.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to come to bat for the Lions here in inning number 3. That means Junichiro Kishi, Leandro Cedeno, and Shuta Tonosaki to face the right-hander Drew Verhagen. Talking about cost of the jerseys, when I picked up I got a Koji Chikamoto jersey from the Fighters, and the Chikamoto jersey, as I said, really nice. At the time, set me back about 55 US, I think it was what it was, and we're talking top quality. As there's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, the count's 0-1. I looked at the Yokohama ones. I thought about maybe grabbing a Bauer jersey. That'd be kind of cool walking around with Bauer 96 on your back. Some of the big league games, I wonder what they would probably do to you. Breaking ball misses down and away. They probably get upset. Major League Baseball, basically, I guess that's as close to a shadow ban as you could give somebody. 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball waved at and missed. Counts now 1-2. You think of the National Football League, how many players in the NFL have criminal records? It's like the jail league in some capacities with some teams. Here, Bauer was not found guilty of the things that he was accused of, and he's guilty in the court of public opinion. He's been canceled. As that split finger misses down, it counts 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander works himself into the windup and delivers, there's a breaking ball that misses outside. It's now 3-2 to Kishi. Kind of chuckling a little bit. You see people walking around making political statements we have an election coming up north of the border. As there's a fastball that misses outside, it's going to be ball 4 to Kishi. Obviously, our friends in the States had an election last year, and see people walking around making their political statements, and they have hidden cameras on it, and the reactions you get from people that walk by them sometimes is kind of funny. Well, Kishi's aboard with a leadoff walk, and that's going to bring up Leandro Cedeno to the plate. Cedeno is 1-for-1 tonight. He's got an RBI with that single as he drove in the first run of the game here for the Lions. Be a big deal if they could get Cedeno off of the schneid. He's raised his average to 212, which is a big help for him and the Lions. Pitch from Verhagen, breaking ball catches the outside corner, and the count goes to 0-1. So no balls and a strike. So no balls and 1 strike it is here to Verhagen as he leans in and gets the sign from his catcher Tamiya. Here comes the pitch. Instead, he throws over to first, and diving back in time is Kishi. You have to keep your eye on Kishi. He can run a little bit. Previous years, he could move around, but let's see if they're going to challenge the arm of the catcher Tamiya. So Skigenda already has a stolen base tonight. Again, they throw over to first. They are concerned about Kishi here. Our friend Harrison says the Tigers game starts at 1 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, at 10 o'clock. Pick the early game because I got to get up early tomorrow. 5:30 a.m. wake-up call. Got to catch a ferry. I have to head over to the island as there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander Verhagen working himself to the set now delivers. There is a breaking ball swung on and missed, and Cedeno's in the books. I got to tell you, Verhagen is walking the line here very close to balking. He doesn't look like he actually comes set. Our friend Harrison says he is shocked that the Giants are playing. Well, it's different weather patterns. They're playing down in Hiroshima, so I don't know if it's the Southwest. The games in the Tokyo area are all canceled. That would have been Yokohama is just southwest there, and you got Chiba a little bit more to the northeast of Tokyo. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses down to Shuta Tanasaki for ball 1. Tanasaki tonight 0-for-1. He grounded out to third his first time up. As the right-hander Verhagen leans in, gets the sign again from Tamiya. 51 pitches already here for the right-hander, and so I have to say probably the bells and whistles are going off. If he's around by much more than the fifth inning, I'd be shocked, as that breaking ball catches the outside corner for a called strike. It counts 1-1. Carp are beating the Giants in that game 1-0. Buffaloes have an early 3-0 lead over the Eagles. Buffalo's playing good ball right now, as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted foul down the right field line. Count goes to 1-2 on Tonosaki. News out of the Buffalo camp was that Kotaro Kobayashi was looked at in hospital a few days ago, and he had a acute strain, I guess, in his lower back, but he's in the lineup today. He missed a couple of games, but seems to be good enough to stay going or keep going. Buffalo's jumped the Eagles for 3 runs in the first inning. Here's the pitch. 1-2 on the way. Breaking ball swung on, and another one lifted foul down the right field line. The count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Harrison says it's raining in Tokyo. Yep, more than likely, I would think. So they had thunderstorms roll through in Yokohama the other day. I got to tell you, I do love that weather. I miss it in a way. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's broken the bat at Tonosaki. It's gone further than the ball, as the ball was grounded over to third, fielded by the third baseman Kiyomiya, who throws to first, and that is going to retire Tonosaki on a ground out 5-3. He's in the books for the second out of the inning. Kishi is advanced into scoring position. And that is going to bring up the first baseman in Tyler Nevin. And for Nevin, well, he's 1 for 1 tonight. He's got himself a single in his only trip to the plate. Getting a chance to do a little bit of damage here if the Lions can scratch and claw and punch another run across. He's raised his average up to 214 on the year. No homers and 4 runs driven in, as the right-handed hitting first baseman of the Lions waits on the offering here for Hagen. And there's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Harrison says, I heard the Fighter Stadium is like Daikin Park. Don't know much about Daikin Park. The Fighter Stadium, I've got 2 places that I want to knock off in Japan that I want to finish off. The Sendai region and Hokkaido up in that area. Go both to see the Eagles and the Fighters, as that breaking ball is taken for a called strike. The count's 0-2. So I'd like to go there, and originally the plan this year was to actually go to Korea, catch a couple of games in the KBO, as our friend was in earlier, and then bounce over to take the ferry from Busan to Fukuoka. 0-2 on the way. Breaking ball misses down, and the count goes to 1-2. And then from there to go to catch another game in Hiroshima, and then make my way to Osaka to hopefully get the Tigers. But I couldn't pull it off. And the reason I couldn't pull it off was because in Osaka this year, they've got the World's Fair, and the hotel prices are absolutely through the roof. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Over to cut it off is Manami, but that is going to get another run across the plate. So an RBI single off the bat of Tyler Nevin has increased the lead to 3-0, as the Lions have cashed in yet another run here off of Drew Verhagen, and that is going to bring up the left fielder in Shota Hiranuma. Well, for Hiranuma, he bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up, but he came around and scored a run on the sacrifice fly off the bat of Manaya Nishikawa. Verhagen had a pretty good spring, and then now here we are into the regular season, and he's scuffling a little bit as the first pitch breaking ball is taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Harrison says he needs to go to at least 2 NPB games. Well, there's 5 teams in the Tokyo area. You should be able to knock them all off if you time it right. Fastball swung on. Slow roller hit to second. Fielded by the second baseman, Wakabayashi. He throws to first, and Hiranuma is going to be gone on a ground out 4-3. That is going to do it here in the third inning. They had one run, did the Lions, on the benefit of one hit. There was no errors and one runner left aboard. We're now moving to the bottom of the third. Your score is the Lions 3, Fighters no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for listening in with us tonight on the Last Props Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everyone. It's going to be the 9, 1, and 2 batters to come to bat here for the Fighters in inning number 3. That means Mizuno, Yazawa, and Kiyomiya, as they're going to be taking on Yatara Watanabe for his third inning of work. Harrison asked the question, which stadiums would you go and see? Well, of the ones I've been to, I can't comment, although we do have a stoppage in place, so not sure what is going on here. The Lions manager has come out. It looks like we may have, I'm not sure what that is. Are we going to have a substitution here? It looks like we may have a substitution on our hands. It could be, it is Shinya Hasegawa is coming to the game, and it looks like that it is the end of the night for Junichiro Kishi. I'll have to get a look here to see where that is. So, change in right field as Kishi's day is done. And Shinya Hasegawa, who did not get the start tonight, is now in right field in replacing. So we'll have to see what the notice or notification is on that. So our friend Harrison asked the question, which stadiums would you go to? Well, the ones that I have been to that I would want to go to again, as that fastball misses up and away and the count is 1-0 to Mizuno. I'd definitely like to go again, 100%. You got to go to Hiroshima. You got to see that stadium. It's a pretty amazing place to see a game as that fastball misses up. And if you go sit on the first baseline, because you get the view of the mountains, you get the Shinkansen in the background, and where you sit, if you sit up higher, you get better view of that. There's a fastball at the knees for a called strike. The count is 2-1. Other stadiums I've been to Hotomoto Field in Kobe, which is where the Buffaloes will play some of their home games. That's a good venue too. That's where the Oryx Blue Wave used to play before they merged with the Kintetsu Buffaloes. There's a fastball waved at and missed. The count now goes to 2-2 on Mizuno. And so those two stadiums definitely for sure. The Osaka Dome, once you get there once, it's just like any other dome. It's, it's great to see, but if I never saw a game there again, I probably wouldn't, as that fastball swung on and fouled away, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Mizuno. And then I never made it to the where the Tigers play at the Koshin Stadium. That's on the list for sure. So those two stadiums for that. Then when you move toward the Tokyo region, I haven't been to Nagoya to see the Dragons, as that fastball misses outside. The count is 3-2 now to Mizuno. Chiba was unique. It's kind of a neat stadium on the ocean side. Clean, new, multi-purpose, and it's okay. As the 3-2 pitch on the way here. As a fastball swung on, it's chopped back up the middle off the pitcher's glove, and it deflects past the shortstop, Genda, into left field. So very fortunate there by Mizuno. He gets himself a lucky hit. And he's going to be aboard with a leadoff single, and that is going to bring up Kota Yazawa to the plate. Of the Tokyo region teams, as I said before, so Chiba, yeah, kind of. Same thing with the egg. You got to go to the egg, and then once you go to the egg at the Tokyo Dome, then it's, once you've seen that, it's kind of like, as I said, it's much similar to that of the Kyocera Dome in Osaka. It's kind of, not a big deal. Yokohama's neat. And in fact, if I go back to Yokohama, I sat on the first baseline when I went there. There's a couple of places I would like to sit. Up in left field would be neat. Down on the third baseline, maybe a little lower. Just a couple of different vantage points that you can see the game from. There's a breaking ball swung on, is grounded through the hole on the right side into right field. Rounding second and heading to third is going to be Mizuno as he goes first to third on the base hit by Yazawa. And now the Fighters have something brewing here in their half of the third inning as they got runners on the corners with nobody out, and it's going to bring up Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. So the Fighters are getting their jet engines up and ready to go. That was a split finger pitch from Watanabe that didn't split, just hung right up in the zone. It was a good effort by Tyler Nevin at first base. He dove to try to get the ball, and it ended up just eluding him by maybe about 3 or 4 inches. He makes that play. It's probably just a runner at second, and they might have had the out at first base. Well, Kiyomiya comes to the plate. He has walked in his only trip tonight, so it doesn't have an official at bat yet. As we said, hitting .216 with a homer and 8 RBIs. Kiyomiya is one of those players who is in scoring position when he steps in at the box. So the other stadiums around the Tokyo area, I kind of have an affection for the Lions Stadium in Tokorozawa. It's another stadium I do enjoy. You got to get to the Jingu, where the Swallows play. That is a lot of history there, and they're talking about tearing it down. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count's 1-1 to Kiyomiya. Babe Ruth had played there. I think Lou Gehrig played there. So a lot of history in that stadium. Talking about knocking it down and redeveloping. I don't know where the Swallows would play, though. Stadium's got to be close to 100 years old. And there was uproar in the community about that. We've got to put in condos, take out the Jingu. That's crazy. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count goes even at 1-1. I will say this, though. It's like going into a hockey rink that was built in the 1940s or 50s. Concessions are old. The lineups of the bathrooms are long. It's not the best stadium. There's no doubt about it. The Swallows could use an upgrade. But if they did something like Wrigley Field did a number of years ago, you could have the upgrade all at one time. But they do have to put some work into the stadium for sure. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. As the right-hander holds to the set, now delivers. Fastball swung on it, is popped up over on the right side of the infield. Calling for it is Nevin. He's underneath it. Infield fly rule in effect? Yes, it is. And Kiyomiya is going to be gone regardless. That's going to put the first out of the inning here, and that's going to bring up the designated hitter in Franmil Reyes. So probably if I was recommending the stadiums that I've been to go, as I said before, it would be where the Buffaloes play in Kobe at Hotomoto Field. Go see the Lions, go to the Jingu, go to the Bay Stars, skip the Marines, skip the Giants, and skip the home stadium for the Buffaloes. So I've been to 8 of the 13 stadiums that are used, that are considered the main stadiums. They do play games in other parks that are different. So I'm not exactly sure where we're at here. We've got Yazawa, the runner at first. The runner at third is Mizuno. As here comes the pitch from the right-hander. As he delivers, it's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Reyes. Yeah, top two easy. It's Carp and Hotomoto Field in Kobe. 1-2. So no balls and one strike. Hotomoto Field, you feel like you're right on top of the play. I had seats about 15 rows behind home plate, but I also moved around a little bit throughout the game. Wanted to see some different vantage points. It was great. Here's the 0-1. Fastball misses well off the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. Harrison says, so Carp and Oryx, yeah, but in Kobe, not in the Osaka Kyocera Dome. And I think they play about 6 series a year, I think it is, in Kobe. They certainly play in the month of August because that's when the Tigers start playing their home games at the Osaka Dome, or the Kyocera Dome in Osaka. As they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Reyes. As the right-hander holds to the set, here comes the pitch. There's a breaking ball that's tapped foul over on the third base side. The count is 1-2. Harrison says, okay, then besides Buffaloes, where in that league? I'm not sure I understand your question. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Reyes as he bats here with runners at the corners. Runner Mizuno is at third. Runner at first is Yazawa. Fighters are trying to push a run across here to cut into the lead of the Lions. As the big fella waggles his bat, we're ready to resume the action here. Watanabe works himself to the set. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Instead, they throw over to first, and diving back in time is the runner, Yazawa. Got to keep your eye on Yazawa. He has 1 stolen base this year, but he can run a little bit. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. I've only been to 3 of the 6 Pacific League stadiums. I haven't been to the 2 up in the Northeast. It looks like a neat stadium in that where Tohoku plays. Same thing in Hokkaido, but I've never been there, so can't comment on it yet. There's a split finger pitch that swung on and missed, and Reyes is in the books. He's gone for the second out of the inning. He's going to leave it all up to the first baseman and Yuki Nomura. So the manager Shinjo not happy there. Actually, I thought it was a split finger pitch. It looked like it was more of a cutter than anything else, or maybe a sinker, although it wasn't gripped like a sinker. So Reyes is going to return to the lab underneath, probably get some swings. So runners on the corners here with 2 gone, and Nomura striding to the plate. Watanabe, this is also another thing with Watanabe. He rarely ever gets a clean inning, and he has to be a magician or pull a Houdini act almost every time. One neat piece about Fukuoka, their dome, it's a retractable dome, but you rarely ever see it open. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is 0-1. I think I've called piles of games, watching those games, and I've only once seen the dome ever opened. The interesting part about where the Lions play is they've got a training facility that's just adjacent to it. You could actually go watch the players train and practice, and then their second team field is just up a little bit beyond. It's pretty cool. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and fouled away, and the count now is 0-2 to Nomura. So if you get a chance to do that, like you can see that. I actually saw a second team playing a couple of years ago, went and watched a couple innings. So the fact that it's on the same site facility is convenient. There's no doubt about it. You go watch the second team play, and then you go watch the first team play. Harrison says the Dragons and Tigers are in a delay. That's not a good thing. Wonder how long it'll take for them to postpone it. I would say you got to wait at least an hour because that's enough for the concessions to make some money. Here's the 0-2. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away down the right field line, and the count remains at 0-2. Jiffy Bacon says, do you think this game is over? No, it's in the third inning, man. Come on now. And the Lions have got a tomato can on the mound. This game ain't over yet. If it was Roki Sasaki pitching, we'd have a whole other conversation. So no balls and 2 strikes as Nomura bats here with the runners on the corners. 2 gone here in the third. As the right-hander holds again to the set. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and fires. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 1-2. Other thing I like about the Lions Stadium, it's a bit of an engineering marvel. The original stadium was not built with a dome. It was in the mid-90s. I think it was 97, 98, or 95, 96. Over a span of 2 years, they put the dome on the stadium. Every time I've been there, it seems like it rains. Thunderstorms like crazy. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. As it is a breaking ball that is swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2 to Nomura. Fighters need a clutch hit. They just need a little opening here. And then the runs could come pouring in, potentially. I try to go for as much as I possibly can. You go for 2 weeks. I've been for 2 weeks, and I've been for 17 days. I've also been for 11 days. And it's certainly, once you go, it's a no-brainer. Tokyo is pretty easy to get around. So there's a breaking ball that swung on and fouled away. It's not a difficult city. At first, I was like, how am I going to manage? How's it going to be? The language, obviously not so much, but there's enough of the English script on signs. You can get away, you can navigate. Once you get outside the major centers, it becomes a little bit more difficult. But certainly in all the major centers, Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, there's enough of the North American language on the signs. You're in good shape. And here comes the 1-2 pitch as it's on its way. It's a fastball swung on a grounded foul. But also, too, you have to keep in mind the geography because Tokyo, there's 5 teams. If you want to get up to Hokkaido, you might as well do Tohoku as well because it's about, I think it's a 12 or 13-hour train ride from Tokyo. I just never felt like I wanted to waste a day in travel getting up there. So I felt that was an independent trip to travel on your own up to that region. So here comes the 1-2 pitch yet again as Nomura is really making this a battle. This is going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Watanabe kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. It's almost takes the head of the runner, Mizuno, off at third base. He was coming down the line, and Nomura just hit an absolute P-rod. So it keeps the count at 1-2 strikes. Anyways, as I was mentioning, it was, when you look at the geography, it's a waste to get up there 12, 13 hours by train, 12, 13 hours back. So if you fly into Tokyo, you want to get a little jumper that takes you, 45 minutes to an hour to get up to Sapporo and then do your traveling around there. So it's almost an independent trip. Same thing going to Fukuoka down in the west. You might as well knock off Osaka and Hiroshima and collect the teams there. Breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count again remains at 1-2. It's going to be the 10th pitch of the at-bat now here, and Nomura's still got a lot of life left in him. So put it this way, if you're going to go that distance, you might as well get a bunch of stadiums in if you want to go watch baseball. Only go watch 2 games is unless you want to do other things. But you can always do other things in the daytime. That's the easy part and the good part about going to Japan. So 1-2 strikes it is. Watanabe ready to go again here to Nomura as this battle is going to continue. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is going to be lined over the head of the second baseman. That's going to get a run in. Mizuno's going to come in to score. The throw goes into third. It is offline, and we have ourselves a 1-0 ball game, a 3-1 ball game, an RBI single off the bat of Nomura. Cashes in Mizuno. Going from first to third is Yazawa. And the Fighters still have something brewing as Yua Tamiya comes to the plate. So our friend Jiffy Bacon, who popped in here and said, is this game over yet? Heck no. Game's not even getting started yet. And we've got a conference on the mound as the pitching coaches come on out. So Tamiya, as he is coming to bat, here he is 1-for-1 tonight. Now really, Tamiya has continued his hot hitting. He is one of the stronger players or stronger hitters in the NPB. I was signaling a couple of weeks ago, I said, I wonder if Tamiya, they might move him out from behind the plate if they want to, I would say, extend his abilities to swing the bat. You see that sometimes with players. If they're a catcher, if you've got more or a different tool or an extra tool, get him out from behind the plate. I think Yuma Tongu with the Buffaloes, he's still listed as a catcher, but they play him at first base. Can't remember the last time. So 11 for 25 is Tamiya. He's batting .440 now on the year. He is the hottest hitter in the lineup for the Fighters. He takes a breaking ball up and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1-0 strikes. Jiffy says his bottom of the third. It's okay, Jiffy. We're just having a little fun at your expense over there. We appreciate you for coming in. So 1-0 strikes. There's a fastball that misses up, and it is dropped by the catcher, although it just lands in front of the plate, and it's now 2-0 strikes to Tamiya. So again, getting his lead off of the base over here is, at first is Nomura. Runner at third is Yazawa. It's 2-0 strikes to Tamiya. It almost seems like this is where the time for Watanabe is about to expire. There's a fastball that misses outside. It's now 3-0. 3-0, and you got Chusei Manami waiting on deck. As he is ready to come to bat, the manager for the Lions sitting in the dugout like the disappointed uncle, watching this unravel in front of his eyes. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on. This is belted into deep right field. This ball could be trouble. Back on the warning track and up against the wall, and making the catch is the right fielder Hasegawa, and that is going to do it. Oh, Tamiya put a charge into that one. He just couldn't hit it hard enough. And he is going to be gone for the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for the Fighters in their half of the third. They get one back. There was 1 run in the inning on 3 hits. There was no errors and 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 3 complete. Your score is the Lions 3 and the Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the top of inning number 4. Slated to come to bat for the Lions is Daichi Nomura, Yuta Koga, and the top of the order, Manaya Nishikawa. That would be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat. As we are waiting here for the right-hander Verhagen to finish his warm-ups. So Nomura coming to bat here, as it is now a 3-1 ball game as the Lions are still holding on to that lead. I had to go back and take a little look at some of the box scores from the last couple of days. Final yesterday, as we said, the Lions beat the Fighters 2-1. One thing to keep in mind is the bullpen usage. All the scoring came late in that game. This is the first game of the series where the scoring's come early. Last night, it was a 8-inning start from Chihiro Samita, and then they turned it over to Kaima Taira to bring it home. So the rest of the bullpen is going to be generally fresh. We do have a pitching change here, as Drew Verhagen is done for the night. As I'll get you that for a second. The first pitch, fastball swung on and missed by Daichi Nomura, and the count is quickly 0-1. And he swings at a fastball and fouls that away, and the count now goes to 0-2. It is the right-hander who is in the game. It is Koji Fukutani who is on in relief. So he has replaced Verhagen. As there is a fastball that just misses outside. Count goes to 1-2. That last pitch was at 95 miles an hour. So Fukutani on here. Last night, the bullpen by the Fighters, they went to 3 arms yesterday out of the pen as that fastball is lifted foul into the seats down the first baseline. They used Miyanishi, Ikeda, and Yanagawa. And so those were the 3 arms that they used yesterday. So I'll have to see. The other night, both of the starters on the Friday night game went into the 7th inning. But they did play 12 innings, so they have used their pens, both teams. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats over on the first base side. The count remains at 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Right-hander again rocking himself into the motion and delivers. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The game is not in Nagoya. It's at the Koshin Stadium in Osaka where that game is delayed, as that ball is lifted into the netting down the first base side, and the count remains at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. And that game at the Koshin Stadium has been postponed between the Dragons and the Tigers. So that game is done off the slate tonight. So just 3 games going on. 1-0 at the Mazda Stadium in the 3rd inning. The Carp are beating the Giants. So there's another fastball lifted foul. Count remains at 2-2. This is also turning into a marathon at bat. It's 8 pitches now here to Nomura. 5-0 for the Buffaloes, bottom of the 4th inning, as they are picking apart the Eagles and chewing on the carcass. Another fastball swung on and another one fouled away. Boy, the reliever here, Fukutani, seems like he's already pitched the ball game to 1 batter. Going to be another pitch coming up here. Pitch number 10 to Nomura. Great at bat. No matter what happens, whatever the result is, it's quite the welcome. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on, grounded up the middle, and it's going to be a base hit. Nomura wins the battle with a single. That's his 2nd hit of the night. So entering the contest at 1 for 18. He's 2 for 2 tonight. He has more hits tonight than he did in the whole season coming into tonight. But he still hasn't got his average up to 200 yet. So Yuta Koga coming to the plate with a runner at first. Koga walked his first time up. If I'm speculating here. I've got to think, I was going to say he's going to bunt, and he's already showing he's squaring it around. As the right-hander ready to deliver, he kicks and fires. It is a bunt back to the pitcher. He throws down to second for one, back to first, and they're going to get a double play. Oh my goodness, what a play there by Fukutani coming off the mound. He fielded his position. He threw it a bullet to second. And then they end up getting the trail side runner. So he's got some smiles and a lot to smile about there. That was a great play. So you're going to lament that. Yuta Koga got the bunt down, but it was a little too good. Pitcher wheeled and fired. And then, of course, Koga, not the most fleetest of foot. That's going to go in the books as a 1-6-3 double play. Koga gone on the back end, and it's going to bring the top of the order in Manaya Nishikawa to the plate. Now, that's some good defense. That's what I'm talking about right there. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1. I remember we were watching the Fighters play a couple years ago against Chiba, and there was a wild pitch. And the Marines scored a runner from third. And how bad was it? They had a runner on second, and he came around and scored two on the same wild pitch. Fastball by Nishikawa was swung on and missed. It's 0-2. But it was one of those plays that you were just shaking your head. You couldn't believe it. But that was Fighters baseball 3 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago. There's a ball in the dirt, and the count is 1-2. They are playing much better baseball today than they were at that time. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung at. It's grounded to the left side, fielded on the backhand by the shortstop Mizuno. It's in the dirt, and it just trickles away. Nomura is down. I don't know if it caught him funny or not. Maybe it caught him in the midsection, but he's a little slow to get up. Or maybe it caught him in the face. They've got the trainer out to come out and have a look at him. We're going to get another look here. Nice play by Mizuno just to get to the ball. Got to say, that's a good job by Nomura using every part of the body to try to make the play. It was a backhand side. Mizuno got it well into the 6 hole. He threw it on 1 bounce. I think it's going to be ruled a hit because I don't think they would have got him, even if the Nomura would have made the play. Nomura's going to go off. He's got a little bit of an injury here as he was hit in the face. I thought he got hit in the midsection, so they're going to go out and have a look. We'll see what that brings us in just a moment. So we have a little bit of an injury timeout here. We were talking about this the other night when guys get hit by a pitch or they have something go wrong and they go down the tunnel. That's the one thing that I say bugs me a little bit. Make a decision. Either you're in the game or you're out of the game. Why can't it be done on the field? I don't get that. And then let's move on with the game. But it does slow the game down a little bit when those type of things do take place. Sosuke Genda will be the batter coming up with the runner at first. We do have that pause in the action. Our auto area says Lions money line. Who you guys got winning this? Well, that's a tough pick tonight. I would still lean to the home side of the Fighters, even though it's a 3-1 game. Fighters are trailing here at this point, but I think if their odds have gotten better, the starter is out. Verhagen has been knocked out of the game already. They've gone to the bullpen here as they do have Fukutani in the ball game now. And Nomura is ready. Whatever it was, they probably gave him some ice and said, suck on this. He's back in the game, and we're ready to resume the action. So Sosuke Genda at the plate. As the pitch is ready to come. And instead they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Nomura. So the right-hander looks in and gets his sign. He works himself to the belt. And here comes the pitch. Fastball, take it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Genda. I also, not only do I like the helmets of the fighters, but I also like these hats too. White on the bill, they've got black in the back, different color brim. I got to make a note of that. Those are kind of a neat piece. As the 0-1 is on the way to Genda, it's a fastball swung on, and this is lifted foul down the third base line. The count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. But a typical weekend game, it always just seems like the weekday games fly along. We're here in the top half of the fourth, and we're already 90 minutes deep. That's the one thing that you makes you wonder in the Japanese league. When they get the weekend games, they drag them out. The weekday games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I meant to look at this. I might even do a study on this, go out of my way to do it. The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games typically run faster than the weekend games. And why is that? Well, probably more commercials on the weekend, more people watching. That's my guess. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses outside, and the count goes to 1-2 on Genda. Harrison says, Harrison, I look on the farm league like I look at single A ball in the Midwest League. I look at it maybe once a month, so it's not something I look on the daily. So it might have been postponed. Don't know. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is to Genda. As the right-hander works himself to the set, here comes the pitch. Fastball misses down. There goes the runner down to second. The throw is not in time. Gets away from the shortstop Mizuno, and that is going to be a stolen base for Nishikawa. That's going to be his 4th of the year. He moves himself into scoring position. I didn't get the result, but I assume it's a ball on, and it was a ball down low to Genda. Count is 2-2. You know, if he would have hung on to the ball, they might have had him out. It looked like he might have got his glove on it, but the slide of Nishikawa kicked the ball out of the glove. We'll look at that again. Yeah, unable to hang on was Mizuno. So here comes the 2-2 to Genda. As the right-hander holds to the set. Here comes the pitch. There's a breaking ball down. It's in the dirt. Good stop by Tamiya. Gets up and throws to first. That's going to be a strikeout. It's going to go 2-3 in the books for the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here. They had no runs in the inning. They had a pair of hits. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 4th inning. Your score is the Lions 3 and the Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with all the action. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a few. You are listening to live NPB commentary with Last Rouse Baseball. Be sure to check out our podcast, The Japan Baseball Report, either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to join our Facebook group as well. It is NPB Japan Baseball Report. Stay up to date with all the other followers who are a fan of the Japanese game. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Ataru Watanabe coming back out for his 4th inning of work, as he is going to be slated to face Chusei Manami, Go Matsumoto, and Akira Wakabayashi. So that will be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. As I said tonight, Watanabe is a escape artist. He is. How he's doing it, I don't know. He has got himself out of some trouble in the first couple innings, allowed early hitters to reach base. And then the last inning, he was able to escape with only allowing the one run after allowing the first two to reach on singles. He's at 57 pitches through 3 innings, so I think his life expectancy is 5 innings at best. As Manami steps in here ready to face the right-hander. And then it'll be the bullpen of the Lions. The bullpen of the Lions isn't all that bad, so they can bring it home. Breaking ball misses upstairs, so the count is 1-0. So if you're going to get to Matsumoto, or if you're going to get him out, you got to chase him here. Bottom part of the order can set the table. The top part of the order can knock him in. That's a big difference. Here's the pitch. There's a fastball swung on it. It is popped up foul. In fair territory, Tyler Nevin racing in. The catcher for the Lions, Koga, had no idea where it was, and Nevin had to race in. He comes in and makes the catch. And that is going to retire Manami for the first out of the inning. Nice play there by Nevin and good reaction. Ball was popped up into foul territory on the first base side, as we said. And Koga looked, he couldn't even see it. And Nevin racing in like an outfielder, able to make the grab. It was, Koga had no idea where it was. He actually did a 360 behind the plate. That was pretty funny. That brings Matsumoto to the plate, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Matsumoto, 4 for 23 in the early going this year. As he takes a fastball for a called strike, the count is 1-1. He is slow to get off the mark. Matsumoto 0 for 1 tonight. He flew out to center field his first time up. Batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Watanabe. As the right-hander works to the belt. Here's the 1-1. Fastball swung on, grounded softly over to short, fielded on the run by Genda. He throws to first. That is going to retire Matsumoto on a ground out, 6-3. So he's gone for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Akira Wakabayashi. And for Wakabayashi, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out in his only time up, 0 for 2 on the young season. Got the start at second base tonight. When I looked at the lineups, I didn't expect him in the lineup. As the right-hander works himself to the set, here's the pitch. And there is a changeup that drops in for a called strike. Count is 0-1. Batting from the left side here is Wakabayashi, and the pitch on the way. It is a breaking ball swung on, grounded over to second, fielded neatly by Nomura. He throws to first on the run, and that's the 1-2-3 inning that Watanabe would like to have, as he has retired the side of the Fighters in order for the first time tonight. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. We're moving to the top of the 5th. Your score is the Lions 3 and the Fighters 1. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a bit. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Be back in just a few. We got a 3-1 scoreline as we are moving to the top of the 5th inning. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this. back, everybody. It is going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to come to bat for the Lions. That's Hasegawa, Cedeno, and Tonosaki. And the first pitch delivered to Hasegawa is a fastball that misses in for ball one. Our resident fighter fan, Zay, is in the house tonight. Welcome, Zay. Fastball swung on, grounded over to second, and is booted by the second baseman, and booted again as he couldn't pick up the handle. So Wakabayashi is going to be charged with an error. That's E4 in the books. A pretty routine play. Couldn't make the easy play, and then when he went to pick it up, he panicked. Couldn't pick the ball up. And Hasegawa is aboard by the reach of an error, and that's going to bring up Leandro Cedeno to the plate. Well, for Cedeno, he's 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and 2 trips. He's also driven in a run. He's pulled his average to north of 200. As the big fellow waits here on the offering from the right-hander, and it is a fastball that is swung on and lifted foul into the seats down the first base line. The count is 0-1. The second inning here for Fukutani was coming in relief of Drew Verhagen tonight. Verhagen only lasted 3 innings. He was not sharp. So here comes the offering. I bet you he might get one more start before they maybe send him down to work out some kinks. That fastball misses down and away, and the count goes to 1-1 on Cedeno. As I said, I saw Verhagen pitch in the exhibition season. He looked darn good. The lights come on and the real games start to play, and he turned into the invisible man. He has not been sharp. As there is a fastball that is swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. This ball is going to be trouble, and this ball is going to be gone. It's going to be a 2-run shot off the bat of Leandro Cedeno. I was just thinking about that in the back of my mind. You got an error made in front of one of the power bats, and Cedeno is going to get his first Lions home run. A 2-run shot into the area in left field. That's going to be one of the slowest home run trots I've seen in a while. As he turned on that pitch, it absolutely was just destroyed. But it all started with the error by the second baseman, Hiro Wakabayashi, setting the table. So one of those runs is earned and one is not. And that is going to bring up the third baseman in Shuta Tonosaki. So 5-1 lead here for the Lions. As I said before, with Watanabe on the mound, it's not a slam dunk. But I don't know what the over-under was for the ball game, but I have a feeling the over-under for the first 5 has been surpassed. There's a first pitch, a fastball taken for a called strike. Tonosaki, based on his body language, does not agree, so no balls and 1 strike. As the pitch on the way is a fastball that swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes it is. Tonosaki waits here as the right-hander delivers. There's a fastball that's missed outside, and the count now goes to 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lions now enjoying a 5-1 lead, courtesy of the 2-run shot off the bat of Leandro Cedeno. Fastball swung on off the fists, and it's lifted into right field just past the glove of the second baseman, Wakabayashi. Boy, it's a tough inning for him. As that ball bleeds down, it's going to be a single for Tonosaki, and that's going to bring up the first baseman in Tyler Nevin. So maybe Nevin is going to keep the beat going here. He's 2 for 2 tonight, but both of his hits came off of the departed Verhagen. And he also has himself an RBI tonight. So he steps in at the dish. Raised his average up to 233 with those 2 hits. It's the early part of the year you can really make your average jump. He's now got 5 runs driven in on the season. Harrison says, do the Fighters have a good bullpen? Yeah, when they have the lead, they have a good pen. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Not sure what the relievers are like when you don't have a lead. Obviously, can they keep them in the game? Certainly a 4-run deficit right now. It's depending on who you turn to. So the right-hander again working himself to the belt. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Fastball that misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Nevin. It'll be Hiranuma and Nomura to follow here. Lions have pounced on the Fighters for 2 more runs here in inning number 5. And the 2-0 on the way. Fastball swung on, ripped into left field. This is going to get down for a base hit. Cutting it off is the left fielder, Yazawa, and he fires it back in. But Nevin's got himself his 3rd hit of the game. That's going to put runners at first and second. It's going to bring up the left fielder, Shota Hiranuma. One thing I haven't looked at is there's been quite a bit of rain in the early going here in the month of April in the NPB. And I am curious to see if they or when they are going to start adding some of those rainouts to the schedule. Usually when they get rained out, they add them more toward the end of the year. But I don't know if they're going to add anything a little bit earlier or what the thought process on that is. So this brings to the plate Hiranuma, who is officially 0 for 2 tonight. He has scored a run. Fastball misses down, and the count is 1-0. No signs of a bunt here. Daiji Nomura, who's got a couple of knocks tonight, waits his turn on deck. Lions have already pounded out 10 hits. So far today against the Fighters. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 1-1 to Hiranuma. So here comes the 1-1 as the right-hander holds himself to the belt. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that just misses inside. Count now goes to 2-1. So 2-1. I used to look at the main page of the NPB site, and you could pull up its schedules. I don't always like the way that the new site is operating. There's a ball that is swung on and chopped foul. Count now goes to 2-2 on Hiranuma. Getting the night off tonight for the Lions is Seiya Watanabe. He is leading the Pacific League in batting average. He is the number 1, top of the heap. And then you've got 4 Buffaloes. I wonder if the Buffaloes are where they are. They got 4 of the top 5 hitters in the league. Breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. 2-2 it remains here to Hiranuma. When you look at the starting pitching in the Pacific League, Imai and Samita 1-2. Actually, they're 2-3 in terms of stuff. They've got Koja is number 1 for the Tohoku Ball Club in ERA. Fastball swung on and fouled away over on the left field line. Count remains at 2-2. So 2-2. As he's waggling his bat, here comes the offering from the right-hander, but now time has been called here as Hiranuma has waited too long. That's the one thing that it certainly frustrates me in watching some of these games here is just how long it will take. And I'm not saying that's the case when you think of what goes on in Major League Baseball these days, the pace of the play with the game clock. Fastball swung on. This is popped up. Foul over on the third base side, giving chase is the catcher Tamiya, but he's going to watch it drift into the seats. The pace of play certainly helps with the pitch clock, but the same token, it's sometimes just the way that the game is paused and delayed a little bit can drive you a bit crackers. So here comes the 2-2 pitch as the right-hander again works himself to the set. Kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on. It is popped up softly. And it's going to be caught by Wakabayashi, and that's going to retire Hiranuma. He's gone for the second out. I don't know if it was high enough for an infield fly. It looked like a soft Texas leaguer. But regardless, Hiranuma's in the books for the first out after a bit of a long at-bat. That's going to bring Daiji Nomura to the plate, who is 2 for 2 tonight. As I mentioned, we were taking a peek at the certain games on which days are which. Today is the 13th of the month in Japan. It's still the 12th in some parts of North America. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball that swung on and lifted foul. Count is now 0-1 here to Nomura. Nomura had a long at bat his last time up, and then he had a single into center field. Looking during the week, all of the games next week are going to go off at regular scheduled time. Just always, sometimes you got some midweek games. There's a fastball that misses inside. Count goes even at 1-1. So there are some Monday games toward the end of the month. There'll be weekday games that are going to be able to be called. Those would be Tuesday games in Japan, Tuesday the 29th. So I'll have some midweek stuff for you as well. Anything that goes off at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock we could get to. There's a fastball swung on. It's taken on the line by the third baseman, Kiyomiya. He throws over to second, but the throw is high, trying to double off Todasaki. But Nomura is going to be gone for the second out of the inning. He hit that ball hard. He's gone for the second out, and it's going to bring up Yuta Koga to the plate. Look at that one again. Absolute P-Rod hit to the third baseman. If he makes a good throw, and they probably double off Tonosaki. That brings Koga to the plate. Koga is officially 0 for 1. He bunted into a double play his last time up, and he's walked. His average has been declining. He's hitting $160 now on the season. Here's the pitch. Fastball catches the outside corner for a called strike. Count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. The holiday early May, 5th, 6th, 7th, there's even games on the Monday. But there's going to be some early games that we'll be able to cover then. There's a fastball swung on. Is lifted into right center field. This ball is going to be trouble. It's going to get down. It's going to be extra bases. 1 run is in as Tonosaki comes across, and 2 runs are in. And now the scoreline has increased to 7-1 on the RBI hit by Koga. It is a double for him. So a 2-run double increases the scoreline to 7-1. Now, is that going to be enough for the Lions to be able to win with? Well, who knows? But it looks like the manager, Shinjo, has seen enough. He's going to go to the bullpen. We're going to have ourselves a pitching change. We're going to have a stoppage in the action here. 2 gone in the inning. Koga at second. 4 runs have been plated by the Lions. We'll be back in just a few. We appreciate you guys for being here with us. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. There is a pitching change. It's going to be Tsubasa Nabatami coming in, as he is going to be replacing Fukutani. So Tsubasa Nabatami on in relief. So he is just completing his tune-up tosses. Just a couple of things. Our friend God is Great popped in. I was taking a look. I was perusing the schedules. So I wasn't actually looking at the chat at that time, but we're glad you could pop in and say hello. We appreciate you as always. Just taking a look at some of the midweek games. We get into that month of May, and there looks like there's going to be a round of midweek games. The Monday the 5th, the 6th, the 7th. Looks like that, or sorry, at least Monday the 5th and the 6th. There's going to be some early starts. So that's good news. And also on the 13th, and the 14th and the 15th, there looks like there's going to be some games as well that'll be early starts. So anytime you can get into that, that's pretty decent. We're happy with that. So this brings up to the plate the top of the order in Manaya Nishikawa. He tonight is officially 1 for 2. And he takes a first pitch fastball inside, and the count is 1-0. He had a single his last time up, stole a base. He had a sacrifice fly in the second, and he flew out in the first. So Nishikawa here tonight, 1 for 2 officially. As Nabatami works to the belt, here comes the pitch. Kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. There's a bullet hit down the right field line, but it's just going to hook foul. It's going to run the count even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So as I was talking about midweek games that will be early, certainly the early part of May. Once you get into the interleague play, which is the back end of May, early June, those don't. But we're going to try to call as many of those as we can. As we also said, we're going to try to also call the games that Trevor Bauer will be involved in. As the pitch is a fastball that misses inside, almost hits Nishikawa, and that is going to run the count now to 2-1. Lions have already sent 8 batters to the plate here in the top of the 5th inning. As the right-hander ready to deliver again as Nabatami works himself to the belt. Harrison said he might be heading to bed. Well, you never know what happens in the bottom of the 5th. There's a ball chopped over to first, fielded neatly by the first baseman, and Murray underhand flips it to first. He's got hit in the face earlier on, and now he's got the old mask on. He's going with the mask. That's kind of funny. Goes a ground out 3-1. I don't know why he decided to do that. Maybe he's got some swollenness on his face. Who knows? But that is going to do it. 4 runs in the inning on the benefit of 4 hits. There was an error, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving to the bottom half of inning number 5. Your score is 7-1 for the Lions. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back, and we'll see how this is going to play out. This will be now or never time for the Fighters. If they can do it now, or maybe they'll never do it. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom of the fifth inning. It'll be Mizuno, Yazawa, and Kiyomiya slated to come to bat here in inning number 5 for the Fighters. And it looks like we may have a change at second base. It is the end of the night for Daiju Nomura. It is going to be number 62, Takazawa, who is coming into the ball game. And so it looks like he's going to replace him straight up. Natsuo Takazawa in at second. I would have to think that would be more for defensive purposes than anything else. So the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1. So 1 ball and no strikes to Mizuno. As the pitch is a fastball that misses outside, the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Mizuno waiting here on the offering. Pitch on the way. It's a fastball, misses up. Account goes to 3-0. See, this is what you don't want. You don't want your pitcher to come out and give up a couple of base runners, and B, you want to put up a 0. Otherwise, the Fighters can gain momentum if you're a Lions fan here. 3-0 on the way. It's a fastball that misses up, and that's going to be ball 4. So 4 straight pitches, 4 straight balls. And Mizuno's aboard with a leadoff walk here. That is going to be only the second walk issued here by Watanabe, but Koga and Tonosaki come in to have a word with him, a word of encouragement. And that is going to bring up the top of the order and Kota Yazawa. You know, even though it's a 7-1 game here in the 5th inning, all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you get another hit and a home run or a couple extra base hits swung together, and next thing you know, the Fighters are lingering around. In this series here, we saw in the first game of the series, the Fighters won the game on the last pitch of the 12th inning with a 2-run homer. There's a fastball swung on. It is popped up foul. It's going to reach the seats behind home plate. Count is 0-1 to Yazawa. Yazawa's 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and 2 trips. As the right-hander works himself to the set, now delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on, chop foul down the first baseline, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Yazawa. Certainly from our perspective, we'd like to see a much more competitive game, but if the Fighters end up clawing a couple of runs back here, then, who knows after that? Watanabe is certainly, I don't think he's destined to see the 6th inning. He's at 70 pitches right now, and he's really been struggling. There's a fastball swung on, and it's chopped foul over on the first base side. I say struggling through the first 3 innings, definitely not efficient, 57 pitches. He got a cookie in the 4th inning where he retired the side 1-2-3, and it only took him 7 pitches to do it. Manami Matsumoto and Wakabayashi went down quickly. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. Right-hander delivers. Breaking ball swung on, grounded over to the right side. They go to second for 1, back to first. It's not in time. It's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to erase Mizuno 4-6 on the putout. He's gone for the first out of the inning. Advancing over to second is Yazawa. Yazawa will go at first. Out at second is Mizuno, and that's going to bring up Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. My friend Harrison's tapping out. Well, Harrison, thanks for joining us again tonight. We appreciate you for hanging around. We'll see you again later in the week. We'll put our schedule up. We're going to do some Major League games on Monday. Haven't decided which ones yet. I'll make that decision probably sometime tomorrow, and we'll put up the streams at some point. As the pitch is a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. And we'll have to make some decisions later in the week. We'll take a look at the schedule. I think Tuesday we're going to be off. Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday, maybe a Major League game in the morning. Same thing on Thursday. As the 0-1 pitch is set to come. Breaking ball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1-1 as the right-hander again works himself to the set position. And now he delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down. 2-1 it is to Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya tonight is officially 0 for 1. He had walked his first time up and popped to first. Fighters fans are still cheering their team on, but not a lot of enthusiasm from some of the faithful. There's a fastball swung on, his ground to the right side. Oh, what a nice play there by the second baseman, Takazuma, who gets to his knees, throws to second for 1, back to first. Inning-ending double play goes as a 4-6-3 double play as Yazawa gone for the second out of the inning. Backside, Kiyomiya's gone. That is going to do it. Unconventional 1-2-3. Fighters gone in their half of the fifth. No runs. There was no hits, no errors. Nobody left the board. We're moving to the top of the sixth. We're going to take our little time out here. As we say, they like to do the Japanese halftime. And we are going to do that as well. Tyler's here. CV's here. Appreciate you guys for being here. I'll be back in just a few right after this. We'll take our little time out and come back and chat with you guys. Time to get a new drink. Time to get ourselves stretched out. We got the back end of this one coming up. And our friend Harrison decided to stick around. You can come and listen to the music with us as well. We'll be right back after this. to live NPB commentary with Last Raps Baseball. Be sure to check out our podcast, The Japan Baseball Report, either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to join our Facebook group as well. It is NPB Japan Baseball Report. Stay up to date with all the other followers who are a fan of the Japanese game. Welcome back, everybody. It is Sosuke Genda stepping up to the plate as his Nabatami is back on to begin his second inning of work. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball one. And now it's a ground ball hit right back at the pitcher. It has hit him. The ball is rolled into foul territory, and Nabatami is down. This game has kind of gotten weirder. Nabatami down on all fours. The trainers are raced out to see him. He is in a whole host of pain. It looks like that the ball had come up and it hit him in the knee or the kneecap area. So lots of concern. I'm going to have to get a look at the replay on this one. He is definitely in a whole host of pain. He's going to try to get to his feet here. Let's take a look at this one again. It came back and it hit him. Wow, it looked like it hit him off the glove and then hit him in the knee, or was it in the knee and then the glove? He's going to limp off the field. We're going to have a timeout. I don't know if he's going to make it back in this one here. But if he does come back, maybe we got to think about a yellow card. Anyways, Nabatami's coming out of the game here. We got to pause in the action. They're taking him down to the trainer's room. It is a base hit for Genda to begin the sixth inning. Hang with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for being with us here tonight. I hate to laugh. I don't, it's not hopefully it's not serious, but just the weirdness of how everything's shaping up here tonight. It looked like they were playing pinball with him. It's I think the third time tonight a pitcher's been hit in some capacity on a comebacker. We'll get a different view of it here. It looked like it hit the inside of his left knee. Ouch, that's going to hurt. We'll be right back in a few.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Well, they do have a right-hander up and throwing. Yukiya Saito, the pitcher, Nabatami, has come back into the dugout. He's kind of smiling. I don't know if he's going to head out. It looks like he is. And he is going to come back out he's going to come out and throw a couple of pitches with the trainer. We'll see how he feels, and then he'll go from there. So he runs out to the mound like he is nothing. He gets a round of applause from the fans. I'll just say the way he went down, it looked like he was shot and killed. So we'll see how this plays out for him here. He wants another pitch, or they want another pitch as the pitching coach. Looks like he's going to be all right. Tammy says it seems to be okay. Well, we're going to find out. They do have action in the bullpen, as it is Yukiya Saito who is up and warming. And there you go. Nomura's got himself a brand new mask at first base. He had this sleeve over his face, and it was this big, huge thing. Now he's just going with the old-fashioned mask from the blip era. He pulls it down, says something to Genda, so he's a masked man over there. And that is going to bring to the plate Shinya Hasegawa with the runner at first here. So after that little injury timeout, we're going to be back to the action. Batting 149, 7 for 49 at the plate. The first pitch fastball is taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Actually, Hasegawa had reached on an error his last time up. He replaced Junichiro Kishi defensively in the fourth inning. We weren't really sure what the update on that was, as the 0-1's on the way. It's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So this game here has some twists and turns. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. And I wouldn't bat an eye that the Fighters flex their muscles and come back late. That's my prediction here. Breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count comes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. I always try to take a look at the pitching matchups and see who might be worth watching. But the matchups here, I was also looking at the weather, so sometimes you pick games based on weather, and obviously there was a lot of weather around. Yokohama was not in our cards. There's a fastball missing down and away. The count now is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Harrison asked a question about NPB games. NPB games that we'll do will be later in the week. Not going to do the NPB games during the week unless Bauer gets a start. Then maybe we'll wake up early or set our alarm and do that. There's a breaking ball that is check swing fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2 to Hasegawa. We did make it a point. We said we were going to try to do as many Bauer games as there is. We get a pretty good crowd when he comes in. I haven't decided the interleague games that we'll do. We're going to try to do some interleague games toward the end of May during the week, and I'm kind of looking forward to some of the matchups there. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fastball on the way, grounded back to the pitcher. They go to second for 1, back to first, and that is going to be a double play. That's going to be of a 1-4-3 variety, it looks like, on that one. So Hasegawa grounds himself into the double play, as Genda is erased at second base for the first out of the inning. That's going to leave it up to the designated hitter and Leandro Cedeno. And for Cedeno tonight, well, he hit his first Lions home run in the regular season. He is 2 for 3 tonight. He has driven in 3 of the 7 runs for the Lions. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right center field. Drifting over on it is the center fielder, Matsumoto, who's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it as Cedeno's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. So an unconventional 1-2-3 inning with a little injury stoppage. There was no runs, there was a hit, no errors, and nobody left the board as the Lions are gone, and they're half of the 6. Your score is the Lions 7, the Fighters 1. We'll be right back in just a little bit. Our friend CV said, how did Bauer do? Well, he pitched the other night. He was doing pretty good until it got rained out. We'll be right back in just a little bit.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city, San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 6. It is going to be Franmil Reyes, Yuki Nomura, and Yua Tamiya to come to bat. But it does look like the Lions have gone to their bullpen as they're going to have a pitching change. We'll get that cut up for you in just a moment. Our friend CV is in the house here, as we'll get you that change here first. It is going to be number 43. This is going to be Shinsuke Hata. And Hata is making his 3rd appearance of the year. He's got an ERA of 27. So it's a little bit fluffed up, to say the least. We saw him pitch earlier in the week, and He had himself a whole host of trouble. So the left-hander here is coming in to take over, as Hada will be coming on here. Number 43 he is, as we get him into our scorebooks. We're talking about going to games or getting a chance to see games. Going to get a chance to see some minor league action next week as the Eugene Emeralds make their way into Vancouver to play the Canadians. I want to get down to Everett again this year. I want to see some games down there where the Aqua Sox play. Got an interesting stadium. I might consider trying to get to some of the stadiums to see some of the other teams in the Northwest League. I've also not been down to Tacoma before, and I'd like to do that as well to see the Rainiers as that fastball misses up and away. Count as 1-0 to Franmil Reyes. Reyes tonight 0 for 2. He has struck out and he has flown to right field. Fastball misses outside. The count now goes to 2-0. So I would like to get to Tacoma. My friend Eric was saying that where he was staying when he played in Tacoma there's a garbage dump near where they were stationed. And they used to call it the aroma of Tacoma. You always knew when you were there. There's a fastball that misses down. It's now 3-0 to Reyes. So 3 balls and no strikes. This game is not out of the woods. The Lions here certainly, when you look at, they have a healthy lead. The firepower of the Fighters should not be sniffed at. There's a breaking ball that misses in the left-handed batter's box. Not even close. That's going to be ball 4. So Reyes is going to get himself a leadoff walk here to begin the 6th inning. And this is what we were talking about. The walks could kill you. It's going to bring Yuki Nomura to the plate. As I said, Nomura, he's got a different mask on now. Got hit in the face over on making a play in the inning. And so once they got him into the training room, they gave him almost like a balaclava. Now he's got the masks that people were wearing during the blip. He's hitting .244 on the season now. He is officially 1 for 2 tonight. He's got an RBI as well. Takes a breaking ball over for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. I call it the blip, if you know what I mean. We're in 2020. So no balls and 1 strike as the left-hander Hada works himself into the set position. And here comes the pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to the shortstop, Genda, who goes to second for 1, back to first, and that's going to be a tailor-made double play. Reyes is going to be erased. It is a 6-4-3 variety. Nice play there by Genda to start it. Good job by the second baseman, Takazawa, to turn it. And that is 2 quick ones in the books right there, and that'll leave it up to the catcher, Yua Tamiya. Well, for Tamiya, he's enjoyed himself a nice night at the plate. He's 1 for 2. He's got a single, and he had a scorching line drive to the right fielder to end the 3rd inning. So his hot hitting has continued. Here comes the offering as the pitch is a breaking ball, misses down. I have to say, Hada is an escape artist here. He has not been sharp. He has thrown 7 pitches and 5 of them for balls, and yet he's got 2 outs. Go figure. So I say about the weirdness of this game. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a breaking ball missing inside. The count is 2-0. And when he has thrown a strike, they've hit the ball hard. That ground ball to the shortstop, that ball was scorched off the bat of Nomura. It was hit really, really hard, and it was an easy double play to turn. And Nomura can get down the line pretty good. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fastball comes up and in and almost hits Tamiya. I would have to think that this is a one-trick pony here for Hada. I'd be shocked if they rolled him out for a 2nd inning. If they did, I'd be asking the manager, don't you want to win this game? So here comes the 3-0 offering as the lefty Hada holds set. And the pitch is on the way. There's a fastball that's center cut for a called strike, and the count is 3-1. If we could only hear a Bronx cheer, that would probably be appropriate. So 10 pitches and 3 for strikes here by the lefty of the Lions as he's come on relief. The other thing, too, with Hada is his body language. His body language is poor and average. There's a breaking ball that's dropped in for a called strike, and the count is now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. If you're just joining us, the starter, Drew Verhagen of the Fighters, was chased after 3. He gave up a run in each of the first 3 innings. The Fighters got one back in their half of the third, and then the Lions jumped them for 4. In the top half of the 5th inning, there's a breaking ball that misses outside. It's going to be ball 4. And so Tamiya's going to get himself a walk, and that's going to bring up the right fielder, Chusei Minami. And there's been quite a bit of rain around the NPBs. 3 games were washed out tonight, as the games were canceled. The Bay Stars and the Swallows, the Tigers and the Dragons, as well as the Hawks and the Marines. Scores from out of town: 3-1 for the Carp over the Giants. That's in the top of the 6th. And at the bottom of the 7th, the Buffaloes have a 5-0 lead on the Eagles. So here comes the pitch from the lefty Hada, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded up the middle past the glove of the second baseman, Takezawa. That goes into center field, and that's going to be a hit for Minami. That's going to put runners at first and second here with 2 gone, and it's going to bring up the center fielder and Go Matsumoto. So I guess if you're a Fighter fan, the only beef is when you have had runners on, a lot of the action has come with 2 outs. So they're threatening here again with 2 outs. They got runners at first and second, man in scoring position. Matsumoto coming to the plate. But now he's going to feel good about that. He entered the game hitting 196, so that base hit should pull him up north of 200. So Matsumoto stepping in. He is 0 for 2. He's flown to center and he's grounded to short. 4 for 24 to start the campaign. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Right-handed hitting Matsumoto. Waits on the offering from the lefty, who delivers. There's a fastball swung on and is lifted foul down the right field line, and the count is 1-1. Our friend Harrison says he's here again. He can't sleep. And Jimmy in the house. Welcome, Jimmy. As Jimmy would know, I cashed in on the Rademacher winnings. I will be booking a trip to Kansas City in 2026. You can mark my words for it. Maybe, Jimmy, you want to join us. Breaking ball that is waved at and missed. The count goes to 1-2. When the 2026 schedule comes out at the end of the year, I'll be circling the dates like a vulture circling prey. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is to Matsumoto. Akihiro Wakibayashi waiting his turn on deck. And if you don't remember, Jimmy, it's the shutout of the Dodgers. Steve said he didn't think the Dodgers would get shut out at all this year. Well, here we are, about 15 games in? Fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. Got to pump a fist on that. That was an easy win. Happy about that one for sure. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Matsumoto. Runner at second to me. A runner at first is Minami. There's 2 gone here in the last of the 6th. Fighters got to find a way to punch a couple across here if they want to stay in this ball game. As the lefty Hada has been struggling. Here's the 1-2. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball down. And that is going to run the count now even to 2-2. Friend Harrison says he's pretty tired. Yeah, I feel you. This game here is dragging. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be a marathon. We're looking at 2.5 hours here. We're still in the last of the sixth. 3 more innings to go. This could take another hour and change. If that's the case, then that means I'm only going to get about 5 hours of sleep max. There's a fastball that misses outside. The catcher, Koga, started to go to the dugout as if it was strike 3, but the home plate umpire wasn't buying it. That runs the count full now to Matsumoto. Harrison says, I hope it would be the 8th. Well, if the Lions could score 3 or 4 more runs, it might put you to sleep. It would be a snoozer. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Runners are going to be on the move. As Hada holds set. Now he kicks and fires. Fastball swung on. Grounded right back to the pitcher. Hada fields it. And he throws a strike to first. And that is going to do it. That's going to go as a ground out 1-3. And that'll do it here for the Fighters in their half of the 6th inning. They had no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors. And there was 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 6 complete. Your score is the Lions 7 and the Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a few. We appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Our friend Christian says over 8.5. Way this game is going, probably yeah. We'll be back here in just a few. Appreciate you guys for being here. You are listening to live NPB commentary with Last Rouse Baseball. Be sure to check out our podcast, The Japan Baseball Report, either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to join our Facebook group as well. It is NPB Japan Baseball Report. Stay up to date with all the other followers who are a fan of the Japanese game. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 7th inning here. We're just getting a check to see. But they do have a new pitcher. It is going to be Yukiya Saito, who is taking over on the mound here for the Fighters, as he will replace Nabatami. Nabatami, of course, was hit in the leg in that last half inning. He finished the inning off. But now it is going to be Saito here in relief, as he takes over here. Now, who's coming to bat? It'll be Shuta Tonosaki, Tyler Nevin, and Shota Hiranuma for the Lions here tonight, as they will be facing the right-hander for the first time. So our friend Harrison said he put a couple bucks on the Giants to win that game. Our friend from the Philippines is in. He says, Lions are really playing good this week. Yeah, they've been drinking. Whatever they're doing, they got to keep doing it. If it's the water they're drinking or the food they're eating, make sure you stay doing what you're doing. They got to be better than last year. Last year, that was absolutely horrific for the first pretty much 3.5 months, 4 months of the year. It wasn't until August that they started to turn around. As I said, Watanabe got the day off today. He's leading the league in hitting. He's been on fire. So Tonosaki stepping to the plate. He's 1 for 3 tonight. And Tonosaki has been benefiting too. He's pulled his average north of 300 as he takes the breaking ball down and away, and the count is 1-0. He singled and scored a run his last time up, but he's grounded out twice. When I see Tonosaki bat, the more I watch him, the more in terms of his stature, the swing some of he does, he reminds me of Javi Baez with more discipline. He doesn't swing at pitches in the other batter's box as much as Javier Baez of the Detroit Tigers does. But he does have that open stance, just his body type, the way that he moves. Breaking ball swung on and fouled into the catcher Tamiya, and the count now is a ball and 2 strikes. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is here. Get a couple more of the Japan baseball reports out this week, as I will look to do the MLB again, and we'll look at the Central League pitchers after tonight's game. We'll cue up those guys, see how they've been doing. There's a breaking ball swung on. This is lifted into left field. Moving over underneath it and making the catch is Yazawa, and that is going to retire Tonosaki for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. It brings up Tyler Nevin to the plate. Well, Tyler Nevin's enjoyed himself a good ball game tonight. He's got 3 hits and 3 trips. He's scored a run and he's driven in a run. I was saying earlier that if the Cedeno and Nevin can get going where they feed off one another, he's raised his average up to 250 now. He's 11 for 44 on the year. The pitch comes in. It's a breaking ball swung on and is lined. Oh, what a leaping play by the third baseman, Kiyomiya. That was destined for the left field corner. He hit the ball right on the screws. He must be really seeing the ball well tonight. But Nevin is going to be gone for the second out of the inning. Couldn't hit it any harder than what he did. Leaping catch by Kiyomiya to pull that one in. And that will bring up the left fielder in Shota Hiranuma. There have been some nice plays in here tonight. So there's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike by Hiranuma. Hiranuma officially 0 for 3 tonight. He has bounced into a fielder's choice. He did score a run. He's grounded out and he's popped out. And he swings and fouls that one off his foot. And now he's in the hole at 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Watanabe got the night off today. The leading Pacific League hitter as a rookie. That's another impact right there in the lineup. You got a rookie that comes in and playing like a veteran here in the first month. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded slowly foul past the bag at first base, and the count remains at 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. He's still walking around gingerly is Hiranuma as he gets ready to get back into the batter's box. The right-hander Saito works himself to the belt. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This is lined into center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. A single by Hiranuma with 2 outs here, and that is going to bring up Takezawa to the plate. Takezawa came in to replace Daiju Nomura, who left the ballgame after the 5th inning. Defensively. Is that going to be the end of the night for Hiranuma? It looks like it is. He gets a high 5 as he returns. It is going to be a pinch runner for him, as it's going to be Keisuke Nakata coming in to run. And so up at the plate here is Takezawa, who is 0 for 3 on the year. And the pitch comes in. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 0-1. 1 ball and no strikes. Batting here with 2 gone in the 7th inning. Right-hander again works himself to the set. Saito ready to deliver. Pitch is swung on. It is lifted down the left field line. It's slicing foul. It's going to hit the sidewall down there in the left field corner, and the count is 1-1. We were talking earlier about stadiums, and certainly one of the things that is interesting about in Hokkaido, this particular stadium, is the retractable roof. I've only seen it retracted a couple of times. And it's obviously at this time of the year not going to be retracted. But it is a beautiful looking stadium. Certainly better than that Sapporo Dome. Fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-2, where the Fighters used to call their home. But one of the interesting pieces about the stadium is that when they were doing the dimensions of the field, there's a certain minimum. I think it's 60-foot minimum that you have to have from the point of the plate to the backstop in that radius. And when the Fighters built their stadium, they made a mistake. As a fastball swung on it, it's hit past the third base coach. The count remains at 1-2. I think it was like 57 feet. They were short by 3 feet, and they had to get a special okay from the NPB. Like, they just built a $750 million stadium, and they're not going to get that okay from the NPB to be able to have a shorter backstop. That's one of the unique things about this park. It's a little bit closer. Fastball down, blocked by Tamiya. It squirts away from him. And advancing down to second base is the pinch runner, Nakata. It's going to be a wild pitch. Charge to Saito. It's running the count even to 2-2 on Takizawa. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 gone here in the 7th inning. As he chokes up on the bat, waiting here on the offering from the right-hander. He shakes off the side from his catcher. And now he's ready to go back to work. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Kicks and fires. Fastball swung on. Grounded to the right side. It's going to get through the 4-hole into right field. Manami's coming up throwing. Here's the play to the plate. The throw is in time. And they're going to nail the runner coming home to score. Oh, what a spectacular play at the plate. As Hiranuma is going to be gunned out. It's going to be 9-2 on the putout for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the 7th. They had no runs in the inning. There were 2 hits. There were no errors. There was 1 runner left aboard. A great play by Manami to gun the runner down at the plate. They keep it a 6-run ball game. We're moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. Your score is the Lions 7 and the Fighters 1. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action after this. Appreciate you guys for being with us tonight on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change for the Lions as they're going to go to Yuta Kuroki here for the bottom of the 7th inning. The right-hander has just completed his tune-up tosses. He's going to make his 4th appearance of the year as he is on in relief. It is Shota Hiranuma has been replaced in left field as it was Keisuke Nakata who had come in to run for him. And he's going to stay in the game and patrol left field. So Nakata is in. Hiranuma is out. And as we said, the reliever is Kuroki on in relief. All right, it's going to bring Akihiro Wakabayashi to the plate. He is 0 for 3 on the season. The first pitch fastball misses upstairs, and he's 0 for 2 tonight in this game. Batting from the left side as the right-hander kicks and he fires. Fastball misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. As we said about the game dragging a bit tonight, now maybe the pace will get picked up. There's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up in the infield. Camping out underneath it is Genda, and he's there to make the catch. And that is going to retire Wakabayashi for the first out of the inning. So 1 away. It's going to bring up the shortstop in Tatsuki Mizuno. Our friend Harrison says, should I wake up early and get an omelet? You should wake up early and make an omelet. It's something that was on my docket as well. I've got some fresh eggs and cheese and all the rest of that stuff. Here comes the first offering to the left-handed hitting Mizuno. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. It counts 0-1. Mizuno tonight has been on base twice. He's singled and scored a run, and he has walked. Was raced on a fielder's choice. As the 0-1 pitch is on the way, there's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes even at 1-1. Harrison says he's also dairy allergic. That makes it a bit of a problem. As the 1-1 pitch is on the way. There's a breaking ball swung on it. It's going to be lifted foul into the seats, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mizuno. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul past the bag at first base, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Left-handed hitting Mizuno ready to get the offering here again from the right-hander Kroenke, and it's a breaking ball swung on, and another one chopped foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Harrison says, complete allergy, but I managed. It happens sometimes. Not everybody can eat everything. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is as the right-hander kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul down the left field line. It's going to drift itself into the seats. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mizuno. It's going to continue the at-bat here. This is going to be the 7th pitch of the at-bat coming here. The Fighters need base runners, and they got to be able to find a way to get some points on the board here. Now, if they lose this one here tonight, they'll have dropped 2 of 3 at home to the Lions. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on it is popped up foul down the left field line, and the count remains at 1-2. Harrison says he might actually make it. Yeah, it's always a bit of a problem. I'm not even sure, where is Marist University? Obviously probably in New York, if I'm not mistaken, New York State. 1-2 pitch on the way. Poughkeepsie, is it? There is a fastball swung on. It is lined into center field for a base hit. Mizuno wins the battle. He's got himself a 1-out single, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Kota Yazawa. I have to go back and take a look here. The Fighters have been all over the base paths tonight. The only inning that they went down 1-2, they went down 1-2-3 in the 4th. They went down 1-2-3 unconventionally in the 5th. As they did have a couple of runners reach base, but there was a double play ball that erased the runner that they did have. Every other inning, they've always had a couple on. So far, they've stranded 6 through 6. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. remember we did one game last year. I can't remember the teams that played, and there was something crazy. Like there was like 15 or 16 runners left aboard. Couldn't get the one darn clutch hit. So it is in Poughkeepsie, New York. So here comes the 0-1 pitch as the right-hander holds set. Now he kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I remember when I was younger, I had a hard time getting to sleep early. I was more of a night owl at that point. Get older, you start to tighten that up a little bit. There's a breaking ball down, but the home plate umpire says that Yazawa went around. Count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is as Yazawa is waggling the bat. Waiting here on the offering from the righty. As he kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-2. Harrison says he's a sports communications major and he wants to be a journalist and a reporter. One guy who's got a pretty interesting TikTok account is Jeff Pearlman. He used to write for Sports Illustrated years ago. Never get a chance to look at his TikTok account. He has some interesting and cool stories. Remember years ago when I was in your age range, when I was at college, I was a sports editor for the newspaper. My last year I was there was a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count remains at 2-2. I was playing football, and after football was pretty much, my football was done. Did a year as the sports ed. And we were sending people out to go, at the time the National Hockey League was on strike in 94-95. We were sending people to go and look at the International Hockey League, which was playing in Detroit at the time. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Had some pretty cool interviews. As the 2-2 on the way, it is a breaking ball swung on. It is lined over the head of the second baseman in the right field, and that is going to be station-to-station baseball. Yazawa's got himself a single. It advances Mizuno over to second. And now the Fighters have something brewing as Kitaro Kiyomiya strides to the plate. Harrison says he's got an internship with the New York Boulders. Yeah, you mentioned that the other night. I think they're in the Frontier League, I guess. So runners at first and second with 1 gone. It brings Kiyomiya to the plate. He is grounded into a double play. He's walked and he's popped out to first base. So the Fighters need to get some instant offense here to close the gap on the Lions. Says, did I used to live in the U.S.? Nope. Actually, that's not totally true. For a temporary time, yes. Breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. I don't consider 3 months to be a long time. So no balls and 1 strike. But we used to go across to Detroit quite a bit and cover the games, but had an interview with a fellow. His name was Al Secord. Al Secord used to play with the Chicago Blackhawks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Pretty interesting story on him. Fastball misses inside, and the count goes to 1-1. Actually, Gordy Roberts was an interesting one, too. I interviewed Gordy on the phone. Gordy played 20 years of professional hockey. 19 were in the National Hockey League. And he was a really cool guy to talk to. Actually, at the end of when I wanted to interview him after the game, he's like, you know what? My family and friends are here. Here, take my phone number and give me a call. So I did. I gave him a ring, chatted with him for about 45 minutes. We actually ended up talking baseball, of all things. Breaking ball down. Counts 2-1. He wanted to play 20 years of pro hockey. He was able to accomplish that as he retired near 40. I remember him with the Bruins. I think he also spent time with the Hartford Whalers. Am I a big hockey fan? Not really. No, just enjoy. The hockey players, sometimes they've got a reputation of probably being the easiest to deal with in terms of interviews. Not like the football players or basketball players or whatever else. They're pretty down to earth. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on and line foul down the left field line, and the count goes to 2-2. Baseball players could be all over the map. You get some pretty down to earth guys, and you get some other guys that are way out there, and then you get the stars that are a bit of a challenge as well. I don't know if CV is still with us or not, but CV, I'm watching this game here, the Fighters. I think there's an advertisement for Mint on the back, just behind the catcher there. I don't know. That might be for Mint. There's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul down the left field line, and the count remains at 2-2. He says, what's your favorite fast food that you get in Canada? I'd have to think about that. I'm not huge into the fast food. I do go for ramen, and it's a Japanese ramen chain that's from Japan that's here local that I do prefer. Here's the 2-2 pitch. As it's on its way, it's a breaking ball that's down in the dirt. It gets away from the catcher, goes all the way to the backstop. And that's going to advance the runners into second and third. It's going to run the count full here to Kiyomiya. So runners are at second and third. That takes away the force, as Kiyomiya here is at the plate with a full count. And you got Franmil Reyes waiting on deck, so certainly don't want to face Reyes with the bases juiced. When I was younger, we used to like going to Taco Bell, but I don't eat Taco Bell much anymore. In fact, I couldn't even remember the last time I set foot in Taco Bell. Used to like Arby's too. That was always good, but same deal. I haven't set foot in there for years. Some of it's more for health reasons than anything else. So here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on, grounded to the right side, fielded neatly by the second baseman, Takizawa. That's going to get a run in, though. So that's going to go as a ground out 4-3. They trade the run for the out. That's the second out of the inning. Yazawa advances to third. In to score comes Mizuno with the second run of the game. It's the second time he's scored today. And that's going to bring Franmil Reyes to the plate with 2 gone. So for Reyes, he's 0 for 2 tonight. He has flown to right, struck out, and he has walked. So the big fella stepping in here to the plate to face the right-hander Kuroki, who's trying to wiggle himself out of this jam. 7-2 is now the score as the Lions still control a 5-run lead. As he kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Already had one big comeback. Almost had that big comeback last night, as the Bay Stars almost blew a 5-0 lead. So here comes the 1-0 pitch as the right-hander kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball. Taken for a called strike. The count goes even to 1-1 on Reyes. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner at third, Yazawa. 2 gone here in the 7th inning. As Reyes is waggling the bat, the right-hander holds to the set. And here comes the pitch. 1-1 on the way. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count goes to 2-1. Our friend Harrison says, what's the best NPB team you think right now? Buffaloes are playing great baseball right now. Hard to tell. It's going to sort itself out here in the next 4 to 6 weeks, you'll start to get a clear projection on that stuff. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Count now goes to 2-2 on Reyes. I mean, Buffaloes are playing well out of the gate. They're looking like the 2023, 22, 21 Buffaloes. Maybe last year was just a hiccup. I don't know, obviously, with the addition of Aaron Curry and the loss of Yamamoto from a year ago, can Curry pick up the slack for them? We'll see. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander holds to the set. Now he kicks and delivers. There is a split-finger pitch swung on and missed. Reyes is gone, and that is going to do it here for the Fighters in their half of the 7th inning. They got a run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. Your score as we move to the 8th. It is a 7-2 game for the Lions. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit. We appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Be right back after this.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. That's right, we know baseball, and we'll be right back after this because we know cheerleaders too. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the top of the 8th inning, and slated to come to bat will be Yuta Koga, Manaya Nishikawa, and Sosuke Genda. That would be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the batting order for the Lions. We'll get a double check here to see if Saito is still with us or if they are going back to the bullpen again. It does look like Saito is still on the mound for the Fighters, as he will be beginning his 2nd inning of work. Harrison says, on paper, who do you think could win it? Well, the Bay Stars, defending champions, obviously, they are on paper. You would have to think the Giants are always going to be in that conversation as well. I don't really like the depth of the Tigers. The Carp, not a chance. First pitch fastball taken for a called strike. Counts at 1-1 to Koga. Koga is officially 1 for 2. He's doubled home a pair of runs. He's walked and grounded into a double play. Fastball swung on, grounded to the right side, fielded by Wakabayashi. He throws to first. It's going to be a ground out 4-3 for the first out of the inning, and it'll bring up the top of the order in Manaya Nishikawa. So Nishikawa striding to the plate. He is 1 for 3 tonight. He's also stolen a base, and he's had a sacrifice fly driving in a run. So officially 1 for 3. As the right-hander delivers, there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Pitch on the way, breaking ball swung on. It is lifted over the head of the pitcher, picked off on the one hop by the shortstop Mizuno, and he is going to throw to first and retire Nishikawa on a ground out 6-3. He's gone for out number 2, and it's going to leave it all up to the shortstop Sosuke Genda. Well, for Genda, he is 2 for 4 tonight. He's got a couple of singles in his 4 trips. With those 2 hits tonight, and has raised his season average to 237. He takes a first pitch fastball upstairs for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Harrison says, I think the Buffaloes get one. Yeah, certainly in the Buffaloes have a lot of depth, as there's a fastball that misses up. It counts 2-0. One of my beefs with the Buffaloes was just how they used their players last year, when obviously the manager's gone. So I haven't got a feel for what's going on over there right now. I haven't seen them. Breaking ball misses up. It's now 3-0 to Genda. So 3 balls and no strikes. Saito, like the last inning, gets the first 2 batters, and then he forgets how to get the third out. There's a fastball that's cut the outside corner, and the count goes to 3-1 on Genda. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and fouled away down the left field line, and the count goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander gets the sign, and he works himself to the set position. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4, and Genda is going to get himself a walk. So he's aboard, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Shinya Hasegawa. Well, for Hasegawa, he entered the game in the 5th inning. Or actually, in the 4th inning, he came to bat for the first time in the 5th. He's reached on an error, scored a run, and he's grounded into a double play. Came on to replace Junichiro Kishi. Harrison says, do I enjoy golf? No, I don't. I don't enjoy golf at all. There's a fastball that misses up and in, and it knocks Hasegawa down on his back. So 1 ball and no strikes. I don't enjoy it because I used to get frustrated when I'd play it because my expectations of my abilities are so high, but you're not going to get good if you don't practice. I didn't practice enough, and that was the obvious piece. You got to get good if you want to. If you want to get good, you got to practice, no matter what you do. And so the frustration is when you go out trying to be a better golfer and you can't golf very well because you don't practice. There's a ball that misses down. The count is 2-0 to Hasegawa. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball swung on. It is popped up down the left field line. Giving chase is Kiyomiya, as is Mizuno. Mizuno slides and makes the catch, and that is going to retire Hasegawa. He's going to be gone for the 3rd out of the inning. That'll do it here for the Lions in their half of inning number 8. No runs, no hits, no errors, but there was a runner left aboard. We're moving now to the bottom of the 8th. Fighters have got the 4, 5, and 6 hitters to come to bat when we return. Appreciate you guys for listening in. We'll be back here in just a couple moments. We appreciate you guys for listening to us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change. It is going to be Hiroshi Kaino coming in relief here for the Lions. It'll be the fourth pitcher used by the ball club tonight. So Kaino in, and Kuroki is out, as he is going to be facing the heart of the batting order. It'll be Yuki Nomura, Yua Tamiya, and Chusei Manami slated to come to bat. So that would be 4, 5, and 6 in the batting order. As we are just taking a peek here. So Kaino ready to face the four-hole hitter Nomura, who is 1 for 3 tonight. One thing I did want to check on that I was curious about was the leaderboard at the Masters. I haven't really paid attention to that. That is what is going on in the States right now in Augusta, Georgia. It looks like Rory McIlroy leads the way. As the pitch is on the way, it is a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. He has a 2-stroke lead over Brian DeChambeau of the United States, or Bryson DeChambeau, I should say. And Corey Connors from Listowel, Ontario, is third. I think that might be the lone Canadian left in the field. Here's the 0-1. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes even at 1-1. I was looking at the golf leaderboard the other day, and I was just trying to get an idea of who some of the players are. It looks like Nick Taylor's in there from Canada too, but there are a lot of guys. I have no idea who they are anymore. It's been so out of touch. I think there were the players that were in the event. I think there was only like about 18 golfers I recognize. There's a fastball that misses inside. Counts 2-1 on Nomura. As I said, just don't really have the interest or the sustained interest any longer to really check in on golf. And there is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count goes to 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike as the right-hander again gets the sign from his catcher, Yuta Koga. And he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and is fouled away, and the count goes full to Nomura. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. Harrison says he shot 10 under par. Buffalo's won 6-1. Yeah, that game is over. And Tiger Woods is a shell of his former self. Here comes the 3-2 pitch as the right-hander kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on, and it's swung on in self-defense. It's grounded foul over on the first base side, and the count remains at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Once this game is done, I got to get sawing some logs. Got to get up really early in the morning. But I also got to get the suitcase out, or I say the suitcase, the travel bag out. Do a little bit of work, get the van prepared, get on the road for about 7 o'clock. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded up the middle. Fielded by Genda. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Nomura on a ground out 6-3. So one of the books, that's going to bring up the catcher in Yua Tamiya. I guess it's just one of those nights. It's one of the, this is like, it's like the dog days of summer. It's the dog days of the month of April here. It'd be nice to see a little bit more competitive game tonight, especially on a Saturday night. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Can't have every game come down to the wire. So here comes the offering as the right-hander delivers. It's a fastball swung on and lifted foul. Count is 0-1. So the Lions looking for a victory here. And should the Lions get a victory in this one here tonight, As we look at the standings, there's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is even. With the win here, that would be the Lions' 5th of the season. With the Marines getting rained out, they would move into a tie with the Marines. It'd be a game back of Fukuoka. The Fighters would fall to 2.5 back of the Buffaloes. Fastball swung on and fouled away. The count goes to 1-2 on Tamiya. Interestingly enough, you look at the teams statistically going into tonight's game, the Lions had the second least amount of home runs. The worst amount of home runs were the Tohoku Rakuten and Golden Eagles. They only had 2 so far on the young season. Dragons and Lions each have only 3. Fastball swung on and lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats over on the third base side. That last pitch was at 99 miles an hour from Kaino. Buffaloes with the win tonight are the first team in the NPB to reach 10 wins. They did it in 14 games. That's pretty quick. Winning percentage is north of .750. Best batting average in the NPB also belongs to the Buffaloes entering into tonight's game. They were hitting .309. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Buffaloes have the best batting average in all of the NPB, and they were hitting north of 300 as a team. Giants and the Hawks tied with 264. There's a splitter swung on and missed. Kaino gets Tamiya. He's down on strikes for the second out of the inning, and it's going to leave it all up to the right fielder, Chusei Minami. On the pitching side of the ledger, shockingly enough, Shinichi Dragons have a 2.28 ERA as a team, and they are in rock-solid last place in the Central League. So Chusei Minami coming to the plate with 2 gone here. He is 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a single and 3 trips. He's raised his average to 204. As Kaino ready to deliver. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count's 0-1. This is power versus power right here. Harrison says the starting to fall asleep out of the 8th. You made it this far, Harrison. You might as well run the race to the finish. Get to the bottom of the 9th. So here comes the 0-1 pitch to Minami. And the pitch is a breaking ball that just misses. Count goes even to 1-1. We noticed it a couple of years ago. We were saying that the home runs were down in the NPB. And the question is why. A few years ago that there was a commissioner in the NPB that was fired because they were accused of juicing the baseballs. And of course, that was something that they had their finger pointed at them. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken for a called strike. And the count now is 1-2 on Minami. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Minami reaches out, touches the other side of the plate, waiting here on the offering. As it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kaino ready to go again. I like what I see at Kaino here. Challenge him with your fastball. You got a 7-2 cushion here. Let's see what he brings. There's a breaking ball. I don't know where that pitch is. Pitch looked pretty darn good, but the home plate umpire thinks different. It's going to run the count now to 2-2. I don't know. I think that pitch looked pretty solid to me. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. I guess the home plate umpire has a flair for the dramatics. He wants this game to continue on. It's only a 7-2 game. Interestingly enough, as our friend Harrison's chirping away in the chat, the Carp are leading the Central. I would have never guessed that. The way they played in the spring. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded past the diving third baseman. Manami rounding first. And he's going to head back with a long single as the left fielder Nakata got over to cut it off. So a 2-out single here for Manami. Hits his second hit of the ball game, and it's going to bring up, or it's slated to bring up, the center fielder in Go Matsumoto. Actually kind of glad that Kino went after him there through the fastball. Our little commercial that we post in there. It's, if you're new or looking for just something to level up and you want to do StreamYards, check it out. It's easy as a point and a click from our end. So the right-hander Kino kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted foul down the right field line, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Matsumoto 4-4, 25. Harrison says he loves it. StreamYards is great. Yeah, it is. You do a great job over there. When we first started to look to stream, I was looking at OBS, and I was just like, StreamYards makes it idiot-proof, which is why we do okay with it. There's a fastball that misses up, and the count's 1-1. Harrison says we should do call-in shows. Nah, I've never liked call-in shows. I always felt call-in shows were filler time. Get people calling in, and whenever you got a low day in content and news or stories, when you get the call-in stuff, I've never been a big fan. Here comes the 1-1. Fastball taken on the outside corner for a called strike. The count goes to 1-2 on Matsumoto. That stood him up. And when it's a big crowd. Yeah, some nights we get good crowds, especially get toward the playoff time. We get some massive crowds. World Baseball Classic, when we call some of those games next year in 2026, we had some huge numbers. Even in the Premier 12 in the offseason there last year, we're calling those games, and people were coming in by the thousands. It's pretty amazing. We had like 250 people sitting in the chat. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses up and away. Now, how many could speak English? I don't know, because we had such a huge gathering from Taiwan. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'm looking forward to being in Taiwan this year. It's going to be about 12 nights, the end of August. It's coming up quick. It's only 4 months away, so I'm excited. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And there's a fastball that comes inside and hits Matsumoto, and that's going to put 2 runners aboard here with 2 gone. Just don't want to seem that this game wants to end here. It's like they are the main feature. So he's aboard with a hit by pitch. That's going to bring Akihiro Wakabayashi to the plate, or scheduled to. Wonder if they're going to let Wakabayashi hit, or if Shinjo has seen enough. Matsumoto gets hit. The trainers come out. Drives me insane. It was a split finger pitch, so it wasn't like it was a regular 4-seam fastball. Harrison said that he was on that stream, and that's why he subscribed. Well, we appreciate you there, Harrison. So the trainer is now heading back to the dugout. Thank goodness. And that is going to bring to or scheduled, as we said, to bring to the plate Wakabayashi, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like he is done for the night. It is going to be a pinch hitter here. As they're going to the bench, it is going to be number 30. This is Yuya Gunji. Yuya Gunji, if you were with us the other night, he came in and hit that 2-run shot to end the ball game. In the bottom of the 12th inning, they were down to their final out. So Gunji coming to the bat with runners at first and second, see if he can bring in some magic like he did the other evening. So runners at first and second, 2 gone here, bottom of the 8th inning. The right-hander kind of in a bit of a jam here after getting the first 2 outs. Pitch on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike it is. One would have to think that Lions are going to get their shot in the top of the 9th, and then you got that 5-run cushion. That's what we had the other last night in Yokohama, and that wasn't safe. Almost came all the way back, did the Swallows. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field, but not deep enough. He just missed on that one. It's going to be hauled in by the right fielder Hasegawa, and that is going to do it here as Gunji is gone for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Fighters. Well, they threaten, but they don't score. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. We are now moving to the top of the 9th inning. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change and maybe some more changes coming from the big boss. We'll be right back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for being with us. You are listening to live NPB commentary with Last Raps Baseball. Be sure to check out our podcast, The Japan Baseball Report, either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to join our Facebook group as well. It is NPB Japan Baseball Report. Stay up to date with all the other followers who are a fan of the Japanese game.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. It is Taisi Yanagawa coming in relief. He is going to be the 5th pitcher used tonight by the Fighters, as he is going to complete his warm-up tosses. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. 9th inning is just ahead, 7-2 for the Lions. Glad you guys could make it in with us here tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the heart of the batting order coming to bat for the Lions. That means Cedeno, Tonosaki, and Nevin. As it is going to be the Taisi Yanagawa on the mound here for the Fighters. Cedeno tonight, this might be a turning point in his season. He's 2 for 4. He's got a home run and 3 runs driven in. As the first pitch from Yanagawa is a fastball that is taking for a called strike. The count is 0-1. As the pitch on the way, it's a fastball that is swung on and grounded over to short. Fielded by Mizuno. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Cedeno on a ground out 6-3. First out of the inning. Fred Harrison, what was that? Padres? Yeah, he's a Padre fan. Matt is. Calls sunny San Diego his home. Good buddy of ours. So no ball, 1 gone here in the 9th inning. That's going to bring up Shuta Tonosaki to the plate. Tonosaki tonight officially 1 for 4. He's got a single and 4 trips. He's also scored a run. His average is at .293. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Yeah, being a Padre fan has got to be almost like being a fan of the Sacramento Kings in basketball. They often can be pretty good, but they often can be hot garbage. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike. The count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball swung on and missed. Half-acre pond in here. He says the Kings are his team. I don't know where you came from, but that's kind of funny. The fastball that was swung on and missed by Tonosaki. That's now 2 in the books. Welcome Half-Acre Pond in here. It's going to bring Tyler Nevin to the plate, who is 3 for 4 tonight. He's got 3 singles in his 4 trips, and the last at bat, an absolute bullet right to the glove of the third baseman, Kiyomiya. He takes a breaking ball for strike 1, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And the offering on the way is another soft breaking ball that misses upstairs. The count goes to 1-1. We're looking at the Lions here. The Lions only once tonight have been retired in order. That was in the 6th inning, but it was the unconventional 1-2-3 as they had erased Genda in a double play. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed. Count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. This game here, as we said, kind of dragged on forever tonight. Once it's finished, we'll wrap it up. We'll give you the scores from around the NPB, and we'll call it a quick night. Pitch on the way. It is spiked up to the plate. Tamiya had blocked it, and that runs the count to 2-2. I always get a kick out of the catcher's gear that they have. Their gear is significantly different than what we have here. It almost looks like a pillow that Tamiya is wearing across his chest. All that padding. Here's the 2-2. There is a split finger pitch that's fouled off. Nice piece of hitting there by Nevin to foul it away. 2-2 it remains on him. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be the 9-1 and 2 hitters to come to bat for the Fighters, as they're going to need those instant runs. Here's the 2-2. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line. Harrison says almost 4 a.m. We're trying to bring home the rest of this game. We got to get moving. We're going to have to get to the bathroom at some point. Our water is filling up into our eyeballs. This game is almost finished. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. On its way, fastball swung on and missed, and Evans in the books. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. That is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the 9th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 9th. Fighters trailing by 5. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Be right back after this. Or after that. We're moving to the bottom of the 9th inning, 7-2 Lions over the Fighters. Who would have believed it early on in this one? We'll be back in just a little bit. Appreciate you guys for being with us here tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the ninth inning, and there is a new pitcher on the mound. The import, it is going to be Emmanuel Rodriguez, who is coming on in relief, the former Blue Jay and Miami Marlin, as he is taking over here. So we'll see how this is going to play out for him. As the right-hander is just completing his tune-up tosses, and we're ready to resume the action. It'll be Mizuno, and then the top of the order, Yazawa and Kiyomiya to come to bat. As this will be the Lions are looking to close this one out. As we said, 5 runs last night wasn't safe in Yokohama, so you never know in the NPB. But Lions here are looking to close it off. Mizuno 2 for 2 tonight. He's also drawn a walk. Had himself a good game defensively to boot. So he comes to bat. He's raised his average up to 237 with his hits here tonight. He does have a homer and 8 RBIs, and the first pitch from Ramirez is a fastball taken for a called strike. It counts 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Right-hander getting the sign from his catcher, and he works himself to the belt. And the 0-1 is on the way. There's a split finger pitch that is waved at and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Way ahead here. That pitch there, really interesting. Not a whole lot of movement on the ball. Just sort of fluttered out of his hand. Here comes the 0-2. Fastball misses away, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Harrison says he did it. He lasted all the way to the 9th inning. Congratulations, my friend. We're glad you did. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander works to the belt. And he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball waved at and missed, and that is going to do it as Mizuno's in the books for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. It brings up the top of the order in Kota Yazawa. After this one is done, we're not going to be here much to wrap it up. We're just going to call it a night. Busy a day tomorrow, so let's see how this is going to shape up here. So it brings Yazawa to the plate, who is 2 for 4 tonight. He has a couple of singles. He's hit into a fielder's choice, and he has flown to the left. Yeah, I think the big boss, Shinjo, really likes this player. He's batting .259 now on the season. Pitch on the way. It is a split finger pitch. It misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Once again, appreciate everybody who did pop into the stream tonight. As we always do, our listeners are global. There's a pitch that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Right-hander Rodriguez waiting and delivering. There's a fastball that misses down again. It's now 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes to Yazawa. Our friend God is Great still in the house over here. We appreciate you for being here. Tuning in from Japan. As the 3-0 is on the way. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. That's going to be ball 4. And there's a 1-out walk here issued to Yazawa. Just as our friend Harrison is trying to get through this last bit, so are we. It's going to bring Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. Kiyomiya tonight in this one here, he's 0 for 3 and he's drawn a walk. He has grounded out, he's grounded into a double play, and he's popped to first. And then Franmil Reyes waits his turn on deck, so certainly Rodriguez not out of the woods here. So Kiyomiya waggling the bat, batting from the left side here against the right-hander. Who holds to the set, now delivers. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. Count is quickly 0-1. Not so sure about that one. That was a pretty looping pitch. I wonder if Kiyomiya was guessing fastball. Sometimes hitters will do that to try to get themselves on time. God is Great says he's also watching the game on TV. What station is it on tonight, Titus? As the 0-1 pitch is ready to come again here from Ramirez. Then he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike it is. As I said, way too long for this game to carry on like it has. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As the right-hander works himself to the set position, here comes the pitch. There's a splitter that swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Kiyomiya. A lot of movement on the pitch from Ramirez. Friend Harrison says, let's end this. Yeah, I hear you. You and me both. Here comes the 1-2 as Ramirez holds to the set and delivers. There's a fastball taken for a called 3rd strike. And that is going to retire Kiyomiya for the 2nd out of the inning. And that is going to leave it up to Franmil Reyes. Well, the Fighters are down to their final out. As Reyes strides to the plate, he has reached base only once tonight. He drew a walk in the 6th inning. He has struck out twice and flown to right. And the pitch on the way is a breaking ball waved at and missed. The count is 0-1. I think if I'm throwing to Reyes, that might be a steady diet of what he's about to see. And once this is done here, we're tapping right out. We're going to end this stream pretty quickly, everybody. We got to get moving here. We're not even going to do the wrap-up tonight. Reyes at the plate swings and fouls that one away, and the count goes to 0-2. So now they're down to their final strike. And it is no balls and 2 strikes to Franmil Reyes. Reyes waggling the bat here. And the offering on the way. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into straightaway center field. That should do it. Underneath it and making the catch is Nishikawa. And your final score from Hokkaido is 7-2. Appreciate everybody for listening in tonight. We got to tap out early because it's an early morning for us. Appreciate everybody who listened in. 7-2 Lions, your final. No wrap up tonight. We'll catch you next week. Harrison, you made it all the way to the end. Congratulations. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you in about a couple of days' time for some Major League action.